first year of the new millennium has been a record-setting one for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. There have been 10 races so far, and not a repeat winner. 10 different faces have carried the victory lane smile, and that's never happened before at the beginning of a season. The all-time modern era mark for any time during a season is 11, and that could be tied tonight in the Pontiac Excitement 400 as the 2000 schedule has arrived at Richmond International Raceway. Close to 100,000 race fans have gathered here in Henrico County, Virginia, just outside the city limits of Richmond for tonight's race. So far in the NASCAR Winston Cup season, 3 different drivers have been atop the point standings. Now, after last Sunday's Napa Auto Parts 500 in California, Bobby Labonte retook the lead from Mark Martin. 7 of the top 10 positions are separated by less than 25 points. And Jerry Punch, the bottom 2 of the top 10, are among those who have not won so far this year.
Bob, last fall's Richmond winner, Tony Stewart, leads a whole list of possible candidates, including some who were Winston Cup winners from years past, and others who would be celebrating their first Winston Cup victory, but each hoping to become the one who extends NASCAR's all-time record as the 11th different winner in as many races to begin the year. Now, you may want to add a few other names to that list, like third-year driver and tonight front-row starter Steve Park, whose Pennzoil Chevrolet appears poised to pounce. And maybe one other driver who, despite not competing in a single Winston Cup event this year, has to consider himself already a lucky winner. If you're not familiar with the story, let's turn back the clock to NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series race in Daytona on February 18th of this year, when 50-year-old Jeffrey Bodine survived an accident that many said appeared unsurvivable. Despite shattered sheet metal and broken bones, his spirit and resolve remained intact. Tonight, that spirit and a special kind of courage has Jeffrey Bodine back in a Winston Cup car. And not just to compete, as his 4th starting spot proves, he's here to win. And considering the odds he's beaten in the last 11 weeks, I wouldn't dare bet against him. John Kernan.
Jerry, it'd be tough to bet against Rusty Wallace, though. He could be the man who spoils the streak. He won at Bristol and then threatened to snap the streak at 7 at Martinsville. But pit strategy cost him the victory after an otherwise dominating performance. He brought the same car here to Richmond and starts from the pole tonight. 6 of Rusty's 50 wins have come here. And right now, he's riding a high that could lead him back to victory lane. But Bill Weber, it's been a tough week for his Penske teammate.
The tale of Talladega. These are moments frozen in time, a mystery etched in history, a race where Jeff Gordon's win did not finish the story.
A NASCAR spokesperson confirmed that a fuel sample taken from the number 12 car after the Talladega race was not up to specifications. Officials have confirmed the sample did not meet specs in a field test. It was taken to a lab for further examination.
Let's face it, it looks as though something happened with the fuel at Talladega.
NASCAR urged patience while they pondered the charges against Jeremy Mayfield that its team had spiked its gas 2 weeks ago at Talladega.
California, snapshots of success in the sunshine now darkened by doubt. Clouds of controversy swirling around one team and 2 races.
NASCAR officials announced that it was penalizing the Penske Cranafis team for the use of altered fuel or fuel other than the official fuel at the Die Hard 500.
And the harshest NASCAR penalty ever, Mayfield was docked 151 points. He dropped from 7th to 15th in the season standings. Crew chief Peter Suspenzo suspended, and team owner Michael Cranafis was fined $50,000.
Of course, the question of Mayfield's roof height after winning this past weekend in California is still up in the air. NASCAR impounded the car and sent it back to North Carolina to be checked again, but no word yet on when they'll issue a statement on that situation.
Win was Thursday. NASCAR fined the 12 team $25,000 because they did not meet the proper height requirement in post-race inspection following the race at California. 2 races, $75,000 in fines, docked 151 owner points, 151 driver points, and their crew chief suspended for 3 races plus the Winston. Still, there's a feeling in the garage area they might have got off easy. They're here, they have their driver, and now they have to do more than race. They have to polish and repair their reputation, knowing that their next win or their next good finish will certainly be scrutinized by their foes and the fans. For the present, their immediate future is tainted by their recent past.
Will the streak continue? Will Wallace become the first repeat winner? How will Bodine do in his comeback? Will the Mobil 1 team rebound from the NASCAR penalties? We'll answer all those questions in the next 3.5 hours. The Pontiac Excitement 400 is being brought to you by the Wide Track Pontiac Grand Prix, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. By brand name tires, oil changes, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express. And by Conseco. 43 drivers are chasing the checkered flag tonight. We'll show you how they line up in just a moment. Standing by for the command that will get this event underway.
Completing 45 years at the Richmond International Raceway tonight is our Grand Marshal. And tonight I'm completing 46 years with him. It's been a great, great ride. Ladies and gentlemen, now for the most dramatic words in the world of professional sports, here is Paul Sawyer.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Command, the engines roar to life, and now the challenge is to go 400 laps around this 3/4 mile racetrack. Let's take a look at our race analysis. The purse here exceeds $2.3 million, the race record held by Dale Jarrett. And take a look there at the pit window. Benny and Ned, without a caution, they can go 110 to 125 laps without a fuel stop.
When you choose to make that pit stop, it's important, but execution, it's critical. It has to be 100% every stop if you're going to win the race tonight at Richmond. Last week in California, John Andretti's pit stop was not that good.
The first thing that happened, Benny, they had a celebrity holding the stop sign. As a result, John went too far in his pits. His tire stopped on the air hose. It would not reach around so that the right front tire changer could get the tire off and back on. Had to come back to the wall and get another air gun. Takes a lot of time to do that. Finally, he gets back over there, but John Andretti was running in the top 5 when he came into the pits. When he went out, he was to the back of the pack.
And as a result, John Andretti was never in contention for the victory the rest of the day.
And it all started with that one mistake with the stop sign not being at the right place so that he could stop at the right place. It was just a series of errors after that that cost him a good finish.
And each member of the pit crew know exactly what their job is. They know that they can be the difference between a good finish and a poor finish in any NASCAR Winston Cup race. Well, let's take a look now at the Walmart Tire and Lube Express grid. On the pole, with 6 victories at this track on the 3/4, Rusty Wallace. Outside, Steve Park, 4 NASCAR Winston Cup races here. He won a Busch race here in '97. In the second row, Mike Skinner, the pole winner last fall here in Richmond, and Jeffrey Bodine making his comeback from the injuries. In the third row, Dale Earnhardt Jr. scored his first NASCAR Winston Cup top 10 here last September, and Ricky Rudd, his first top 5 of 2000 was last weekend in California. Starting 7th, Tony Stewart, his first NASCAR Winston Cup win here was last September, and Wally Dallenbach, his first top 10 start since Talladega last October. In the 5th row, Bobby Labonte, his only short track top 5s were here last year. He finished 2nd and 3rd. And Bill Elliott, who won this race in 1992, the last to win it from the pole. Starting in the 6th row, Mark Martin, 2nd place in last year's race, and John Andretti, top 10 2 of the last 3 Richmond events. This is a very unique racetrack, and it has multi-grooves, and Benny, everybody's saying that you got to get to the top because that's where the best bite is.
That's where the best grip is. They put a sealer on this racetrack almost before every event. As that sealer wears off, the racetrack starts getting slick, and you move up the racetrack, get a grip on that new sealer, and you get on around the racetrack.
And I think as we see this race go on tonight, that we'll see that groove move up because they'll wear off that sealer and just keep going a little bit higher to search for it.
Back in row number 14, Robert Presley and Brett Bodine. In the 15th row, Jeff Burton is making his 200th NASCAR Winston Cup start. Terry Labonte has 3 wins at this facility. Dale Earnhardt, 5 straight Richmond, qualifying lower than 30th. Dave Blaney also with him back in the 16th row. And And then we get back to Todd Bodine and Ken Schrader. Scott Pruitt and Robbie Gordon will be back there in the 18th row. And then we get back to the provisional starters in tonight's race. Starting back in the 19th row, the driver who dominated last weekend at California, leading the most laps, rookie Matt Kenseth and Michael Waltrip, who had all kinds of problems in qualifying. 20th row, Kevin LePage and Jerry Nadeau. And Kyle Petty and Elliott Sadler will be in the next to the last row. And all alone back in the 22nd row in 43rd position is Mike Bliss. The drivers who failed to qualify here for the Pontiac Excitement 400, Dave Marcus, Rick Mast, Ed Barrier, and Darrell Waltrip, who is out of provisionals.
Michael Waltrip has their Nation's Rent New Holland onboard camera. He'll be starting back in the 38th position. Bobby Hamilton, the Howard Johnson's onboard camera. He starts 24th. The Coors Light camera will be carried by Sterling Marlin, starting 21st. Martin has the Conseco onboard camera. He starts inside the 6th row. Bobby Labonte, Circuit City onboard camera. Bobby starts 9th. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Budweiser onboard camera. Lil Lee starts inside the 3rd row. And our pole sitter, Rusty Wallace, the Miller Lite onboard, as he looks back at the entire field behind him.
And he hopes that's what he'll be doing all night.
Rusty Wallace will join Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Gordon, Park, Labonte, Mayfield, and Skinner in the Bud Shootout for the year 2001. Anybody who wins a Bud pole this year will be eligible for that event at Daytona. Less than half a second separated the fastest qualifier from the slowest. It is a 3/4 mile oval. The front stretch is 1,290 feet, back stretch 860. The corners banked at 14 degrees. Front stretch at 8 degrees and just a very slight banking on the backstretch. It's a beautiful night here in Central Virginia. You couldn't ask for a better evening. It has been relatively hot here this afternoon and humid, but a great night to sit back and enjoy the race here at Richmond and wherever you are in your living room.
About 90 degrees this afternoon, as a matter of fact. We see the lights are on the safety car out, which means in about a half lap we'll be getting the green flag.
Wallace and Steve Park are on the front row with Mike Skinner and Jeffrey Bodine, who's about to take the green flag for the first time in the year 2000. The green is out. The Pontiac Excitement 400 is on. Jumped out quickly to the lead, leaving Mike Skinner and Steve Park to battle for second. And all of his success here at Richmond International Raceway, Rusty Wallace did not lead a lap in 1999, but he's led the first two here in 2000 as the battle rages on for second.
Neither of those Chevrolet drivers want to give up. They'd like to get up there to see if they can challenge Rusty Wallace. It might be slowing them down a little bit running side by side because they don't get the full. Whoa. Mike Skinner got loose coming off that corner. Did a good job of straightening it out. Of course, it allowed Steve Park to get up there in second place. It also allowed Jeffrey Bodine to move up on the inside of Mike Skinner. Mike Skinner had a similar situation to that last week in California. Yeah. He was running side by side with the car, too. He was on the pole there and then dropped back, but he came back pretty quick.
Some spark coming up beneath the 60 car, the power team car. When he goes down the corner, it looks like the car is bottoming out.
When Jeffrey passed Mike Skinner of his first competitive pass of the year 2000 in the Winston Cup Series. And now Mike Skinner looks to the inside and tries to regain that position, but he'll stay where he is for the moment. Running back in the 5th spot is Dale Earnhardt Jr., then Ricky Rudd, Tony Stewart. Looking back from the pole sitter and the current leader, Rusty Wallace, to Steve Park, who looks like he may be ready to mount a challenge.
He's looking.
Meanwhile, here comes Skinner trying to get on the inside of Jeffrey Bodine. That's for the 3rd spot. Could not quite make the pass, and we'll see Jeffrey Bodine go down in the corner. I think as the tires get warm, as the pace starts slowing down, then I don't believe that Jeffrey Bodine's car will be bottoming out going in the corner.
Well, a big pack of cars back here battle for position.
Ooh, I started to say that Jimmy Spencer looked like he wanted to make it 3 wide there going into that corner, and that really got things jumbled up.
Well, the 12 team, of course, suffering some penalties handed out this past week that we told you about coming on the air, and now their problems continue as Jeremy is hard into the wall in the third turn, and that is going to bring his Mobil 1 Ford to pit road.
You hate to see that. See the left front fender? That's where he's the victim of circumstances. That's where he made contact with the other car. And you're right. Jimmy Spencer was trying to make it 3 wide going in turn 3. He made contact with another car who made contact with Jeremy. And we see these guys think they're just going to change tires and put Jeremy back out there. That's not going to happen.
Got more work than that to do. Here it is. Basically, Jimmy didn't quite get there, but he did run into the corner, and that shot Nemechek up into the 12 car. Here it is again, right there. Just a little bit of a tap, and it got Nemechek out of control momentarily, and into Mayfield he went, and Mayfield into the wall.
Tough break for Jeremy. He's riding around on the outside, and
now from Sterling Marlin's onboard camera.
Goes right on board camera. Watches Spencer makes contact, and Jeremy gets that quickly in the outside retaining wall.
Now to John Kernan.
And Bob, Jeremy Mayfield is going to have to go behind the wall to make some repairs to the right front of his car. The right front brake rotor is going to have to be replaced. Also, the lower A-frame has been bent, so they pulled him behind the wall. They'll go to work. What a very disappointing way to start off the race for Jeremy Mayfield.
Well, that car was making its first start of the year 2000. It did run at Richmond and Martinsville last year, but it's behind the wall for repairs at the end of 9 laps. Just dropped. The cars race down into turns 1 and 2, and quickly Mike Skinner retakes that third spot from Jeffrey Bodine, and here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. to try to get around Jeffrey also.
Let's get a nose under coming off the turn.
Have an extended break from racing because of an injury like Jeffrey has?
No, I never have.
I was very fortunate in 1965 that was able to continue with the brace and the brace of God.
Tony Stewart, that Home Depot car, all over the back of Ricky Rudd now, the 28 car. He's been trying them on the outside, trying them on the inside, and nothing has worked so far. Ricky Rudd's running pretty well.
Ricky, he was good in practice.
On board with Bobby Labonte, who's running back in 8th spot behind Tony Stewart. There's the 33 of Joe Nemechek, and he's got some damage there on the right rear of the car.
Yes, he does.
Oh, yeah.
There's smoke coming. Boy, that's a dangerous situation for him.
That's where he made contact with the left front of Jeremy Mayfield.
He's running back in 24th position. Meanwhile, this battle is for 11. Bill Elliott and Mark Barton, closely pursued by John Andretti.
Wally Dolan back in front, the 75 car, front of these cars. And here comes Jeff Gordon, started back in 17. 14.
They did on the outside in the first 4 or 5 laps. That was a good spot to be. I saw he and several cars made up some time up there on that outside.
Martin running 11th, looks back to the 43 car. John Andretti back in 12th.
Up front, meanwhile, again, Steve Park tries that high line around Rusty Wallace and doesn't have quite enough to take the lead yet. And here are the cars that have made significant advances in the first 18 laps of the race. Craven up 6. Kenny Irwin has moved up 5 positions to 20th. Todd Bodine up 7. Bodine runs very good at this racetrack, and Jerry Nadeau has gained 6 positions so far in the race.
Now Park's looking down on the inside. Rusty's apparently trying that second groove a little bit and say, hey, he's going to look up there. Maybe I better move up there.
That's exactly right. He saw that Steve Park was faster than he was on the outside groove, so he chose to go up there. It looks like it's working for him. Now Mark Martin trying to take over the 10th position from Wally Dallenbach.
Dallenbach with a great qualifying run here for this race.
John Kernan is with Jeremy Mayfield.
Bob, Jeremy's still sitting in his car. His crew is going to work trying to get things fixed in that right front to get the car back out there. Jeremy, what happened?
Well, it looked like Spencer got to 33, and then 33 got into us a little bit. We just got up in the loose stuff and couldn't turn, but had a great car. I mean, you know, about 2 or 3 weeks in a row we had a shot to win the race, and this Mobil 1 team's done a super job here. We're on a roll here, and it's a big matter. We'll fix it going.
The team has faced a lot of adversity this week with the penalties and such, and now they have faced adversity on the racetrack here at Richmond. Bob.
His car behind the wall getting repairs. Meanwhile, we continue to focus on this battle for the 10th position between Mark Martin and up ahead, Wally Dallenbach, who tested this car at Lakeland, USA on Tuesday. There's the 91 car of Todd Bodine, and he has really given Jeff Burton a run for his money right now.
Looks like the car is getting good traction from that low groove, and he is all over Jeff Burton.
Back for 24th position.
Jeff Burton almost spun. He hit the wall with the right rear of his car in the first practice this morning. He was late in that first practice, and he was out there on a long run. Coming off of turn 4, it just got out from under him a little bit and banged in the right rear of it. They fixed it. Well, this traffic is getting heavy here now.
And we're seeing it all from the Pennzoil copter cam circulating above. Todd Bodine was the fastest in happy hour, which of course was conducted during the heat of the day, and 2 drivers, one of them being Dale Jarrett, didn't even participate in happy hour.
I think they were concerned about the temperature at that time. It was very, very high when happy hour took place, and they felt that the practice from 11:30 to 1 o'clock today, the temperature was a little closer than when the race would start tonight. They felt pretty good about the car, so they chose not to participate in happy hour.
Todd Bodine's been able to get by the 99 car, but now he's trying to get by Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car, and Hamilton's trying to get by the 77. Now here comes Burton back. So pick a line, take a line, take a number. Jeff Burton in the 99 car is really trying to get that outside line to work. Preston gets it to work. He goes by Hamilton. Now here comes Burton.
And also moving up on this battle is Dale Earnhardt. This is 21 on back. Irwin in 21st. And now here is Steve Park once again trying to get the nose of his Pennzoil Chevy to the inside of Rusty Wallace, but unable to do so as Wallace continues to hang on to the lead. 29 laps completed, and Rusty's been out front for all of them. Jeffrey Bodine, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Tony Stewart complete the top 6. Back with more live coverage in just a moment of the Pontiac Excitement 400 from Richmond International Raceway. Working the 38th lap of the Pontiac Excitement 400 here at Richmond International Raceway. This racetrack used to be a half mile. 26 events have been run on the 3/4 mile. And it's been basically a Rusty Wallace racetrack. He leads in at least 6 categories. There you see them, including number of wins. He has 6 wins at this facility. What is that leading right now?
What does that say?
23rd race.
Why'd you say 26?
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. 23 races since the reconfiguration. I even wrote it down when I did it. Steve Park's still working on them. They're coming up on some lap traffic now as they pass by the 44 car of Kyle Petty. He's running 42nd. He goes a lap down.
Tony Stewart looks like the car on the move. He's been able to get by Ricky Rudd. He's been able to get by Jeffrey Bodine. And look at that, man. Tony Stewart right on the bottom of the racetrack.
And that's after 39 laps. They're on their 40th lap right now, so that's pretty impressive that he can keep that Pontiac down there that low after that many laps.
And he told us on Bill Weber's NASCAR Today that that's how he won here last fall, by running at the bottom of the racetrack. So I guess he's got the car set up just like he had it last year.
Right now he is running about 5.6 seconds behind the leader, Rusty Wallace.
11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th right here as Jeff Gordon slides inside of Bill Elliott.
Pass on the bottom of the racetrack. Bill Elliott, McDonald's car is giving Jeff Gordon the bottom, but just can't stick well enough to get by.
Making a improvement as he goes inside and passes Johnny Benson. Oh, and he hit the wall coming out of 4. Man, oh man, did he hit.
Oh, that's too bad. Caution is out.
You see pieces bouncing across the racetrack.
I'm all right. Sorry, but I'm all right.
Well, that's a good news. But he had a good run going here in the first
right there.
43 laps.
Also, Johnny Benson, the Lycos car, made contact with him. There's some damage to Johnny's car.
This is only Todd Bodine's second start this year. He was in Atlanta, started 24th and finished 7th.
Lose a tire sometimes?
Here they all come.
Blow the right front tire, it pops right out.
Here they come indeed for the first round of pit stops. They come on lap number 44 as Rusty Wallace leads Park and Skinner and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and others down. Here's Jerry.
Rusty complaining the car a little bit tight. They're going to put 4 tires. They'll take 1 round of bite out of the right rear, which will loosen the car up. Go to the left rear of the car. 1 round of bite out. The car a little bit tight. Left side tires going on. Tire rolls over from the Pennzoil car in front of Rusty. Left side tires on. Rusty down and away. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Mike Skinner's on pit road. He's already got right side tires. They went a round and a half on the track bar. He's got the #1 pit stall. He's away behind the 2 in the 50 to John Kernan.
Jeff Burton was in for a 4-tire change. They lowered the air pressure in both rear tires. Also made a track bar adjustment 1 round to try and tighten that car up. Dale Earnhardt was also in. Didn't see any changes made to his car. He came out behind Burton up on this end pit road.
Rusty led the race off of pit road. The 21 car of, is that the 21 up there?
Yeah, Elliott Sadler has not pitted yet. So he will get those 5 bonus points. And Ricky Craven must have changed 2 tires. Did you ever see Todd Bodine coming off the corner right in front of Johnny Benson? He comes off the corner, and all of a sudden we see the right front tire just bam. The air goes out from under it, and Benson has no place to go but right in the rear of Todd Bodine.
And there is sheet metal damage on the front of Benson's car. I'm sure they've worked on that during this caution.
Here it is from another angle, and you can see the right front of the car just kind of fall, indicating the tire went down, and into the wall he went.
And then what's that piece of brake rotor coming across the racetrack? Right in the grill of Kenny Irwin. Man, and see, the thing kicked it back out. From a Pennzoil copter cam, and there we see the right front. And there we see the contact. Now watch, if we can see this piece of brake rotor will come out from underneath Todd Bodine's car. I think it was behind us, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's Irwin.
Look at all the debris and sparks from under this car. And there's the tailpipes, the complete exhaust system. Almost a complete exhaust system. All the tailpipes come out from the car.
Wow. We got a little bit of everything on the racetrack. It'll take a little bit of while to get this thing cleaned up. Todd Bodine hits the wall, coming out of turn number 4, bringing out our second caution of the evening here at Richmond. Sunday Night Baseball, the Houston Astros, led by Jeff Bagwell, hope to jumpstart the team after their woes at home. They travel to L.A. to meet the Dodgers, led by Gary Sheffield, who started off the year very hard, and Sean Green. All of it at 8 o'clock on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Still under caution here at Richmond International Raceway. Elliott Sadler did lead a lap, then pitted. That gave the lead back to Rusty Wallace. That's where we are right now with 50 laps completed, and we get a report from the doctor.
Earlier, we saw Joe Nemechek's right rear tire smoking. Let me show you what happened. When he hit the wall over and had some sheet metal damage, the crush panel, this panel right here, came loose and was down rubbing on the tire. Now, on the pit stop, they ripped this crush panel away, and here's the right rear tire. You see where it was rubbing the rubber away? The tire still has air in it, but it was getting very, very loose. And, folks, those are the cords, so this caution was a big break for Joe Nemechek.
And here's what caused that crush panel to be bent and knocked down on the tire. He's on the inside of Jeremy Mayfield. Jimmy Spencer, the 26K mark car, goes down, makes contact, and right there, the right rear of Nemechek's car hits the left front of Mayfield, and that's where the damage came from.
And Mayfield is still behind the wall, so is Kyle Petty, and of course the 91 that was just involved in the crash. Well, Rusty Wallace stayed the same. Park lost 4 positions. Jeffrey Bodine lost 5. Ricky Rudd lost a couple of positions, and Ricky Craven, who I assume just took 2 tires, gained 7 spots.
That's the report that we have, that he just took 2 tires, so he's up to 2nd place now. He had moved to 9th, so he really was moving forward.
So Craven is 2nd, then Mike Skinner, then Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart. Those are the top 5.
Dave Blaney made a pit stop, and they worked on the car. Hey, let's go down to Todd Bodine right now, John.
Todd Bodine had a great run last night in the Busch Series race with another top 10 finish. But tonight, Todd, it's an early end to your evening. What happened?
Must have run something over, cut the tire down. It's a shame. Little Joe's car was flying. I mean, we had the fastest practice times, and working my way up, coming up through with Jeff Burton, and just trying to take our time, pace ourselves, and just run something over. It's a shame that Mike Hillman and his whole crew built a great race car. I mean, the thing was really good, and you know, we'll try it again sometime. I don't know when. You know, Joe doesn't have a sponsor. We need a sponsor, and if we can get one, we'll run some more. If not, you never know.
So you think you might have cut down a right front tire?
Yeah, we definitely ran something over. The car wasn't pushing that much, so I knew it didn't wear it out to blow it out, and it's just one of those things that happens in racing.
And he has been checked out and released from the Infield Care Center. Back to green, Bob.
Race resumes on lap number 54.
Green flag, green flag.
Scott Pruitt down on the inside. He is 1 lap down on the tire to Ford.
Now, Kyle Petty was behind the wall. He's back out, but 8 laps down, and Dave Blaney has gone behind the wall. So 3 cars, Blaney, Bodine, and Mayfield, back behind the wall.
Tony Stewart making a challenge for about the 4th spot. On the inside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And probably too early to call that. No, maybe some contact there.
Now he comes up on Mike Skinner.
Oh, and Skinner just drives down to the bottom of the racetrack.
To make those passes with those fresh tires on, we know it's going to get more difficult as those tires heat up.
And Jeff Gordon has got himself to the outside of Bobby Labonte, and he's trying to move up. Jeff right now running back in the 9th spot.
This car was very good. Gordon's was on the fresh tires when the start of the race. Then he sort of settled in there and didn't make any full progress other than his first 10 laps.
This is Mark Martin's camera looking back to Jeff Gordon and the others. Meanwhile, here is Craven trying to get the lead from Rusty Wallace.
Tire change.
That's impressive.
The last time that Ricky Craven led a NASCAR Winston Cup race was Martinsville in April of last year. He didn't lead that lap, but he came awfully close, and now let's see if he can do it, try to make the pass again.
Couldn't quite make it. Looked like he got a little bit loose. Had to back off, correct the thing, so he'll sit back, ride a couple laps, try to let those tires cool, and then make a run at Rusty Wallace.
This is only Craven's 4th start of the year. Here's a Super 8 serial on Ricky Craven, who started from 14th position. By lap number 11, he had moved to 10th. And because of the 2-tire change on that first round of pit stops, he gained 2nd spot and is right there behind Rusty Wallace, the leader.
You mentioned that Dave Blaney had gone into the garage area. We understand that's a gearing problem, transmission problem.
Again, the 32 car Scott is not on the lead lap. With Mark Martin, Jeffrey Bodine, and Bobby Labonte and the others are fighting for position.
Scott Pruitt is giving them room down on the inside, but they're having to use up a little bit more of their tires than they would like to down on that inside to get by.
And Jeffrey Bodine on the inside of Mark Martin, trying to take away the 7th position.
Down to Bill Weber.
Well, a couple of things going on down here, Bob. First of all, Jeffrey Bodine on that pit stop stalled the car right when he was ready to take off. He got to be fired, got a push from the crew, lost a couple of spots, but is starting to make up some of that. And Benny and Ned, a lot of talk about brakes here tonight, more than I've ever heard this early in the race. Mike Skinner has adjusted his bias more to the rear. Bobby Labonte had a brake problem on the very first lap. He locked them up, had to adjust his bias, and several drivers have asked their crew chief to look at the rotors when they go into the turns to make sure that they're not glowing too brightly red.
Well, we always talk about brakes at Martinsville because of the long straightaways and the very tight turns. We have not talked that much about it here in the past, but one thing about it, they're running a lot faster at the end of these straightaways than they are at Martinsville. And I guess they're just driving them on down in there and then having to use those brakes.
I talked to one of the brake engineers down the garage area today, and he told me they had seen 1,385 degrees temperature on some of these brake rotors during practice.
It's hard to imagine something that hot.
And 1,400 degrees is white hot. Last night we showed you Jeff Green's brake rotor, and it was red hot. That's about 1,100 degrees. At 1,400, the engineer tells me they're white hot. I don't know if we can see that or not.
Terry Spencer trying to pass John Andretti down the inside. Spencer's got a good race car tonight. And 25 of Jerry Nadeau is against the wall.
Right here in the front for turn number 4.
Oh, well.
Right in front of the leaders.
Wow.
He's in the middle of the racetrack now. He's going to try to get to the bottom. He's on the apron of the racetrack now, so these guys side by side will not have a problem. Now these 2 tires that Ricky Craven, the 2-tire change is starting to show some effect. He's falling back now to the clutches of Mike Skinner. Last lap, Mike Skinner was a mile per hour faster than Rusty Wallace.
Skinner looks to the inside, can't make the pass. Skinner led 64 laps last Sunday at California. Is one of those drivers who is, as they say, knocking on the door, and a lot of people believe that he will be the next first-time winner in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Big pack of cars back through here. There's Jeff Burton with Ricky Rudd and John Andretti. And Jeff Burton, by the way, is making his 200th NASCAR Winston Cup start. Dale Jarrett is making his, what is it, 400 or 500th?
400, I think it is.
Yes, 400, right.
And there's Dale Earnhardt right on the inside of John Andretti. Might have been just a touch of rubbing.
Earnhardt had a great pit stop, and since then he's moved up around Ward Burton. Now trying to take another position.
This is
Flipped a little bit there.
They're battling for 15th there, 15th, 16th, and 17th on back.
Mike Skinner has been able to get by Ricky Craven take over the second spot, and he and Rusty right now run about the same speed.
Separated by just about 1/3 seconds, however.
These cars we're watching here are running about 8 to 9 seconds behind Rusty.
The tie car, Scott Pruitt. As we established, he is a lap down, but looks like he's running pretty competitive with these cars.
Let's go down to John Kernan in the John Andretti pit, or the Jerry Nadeau pit.
And Jerry Nadeau just came in, changed 4 tires. It was a flat right front tire. You can still see the smoke boiling off of it. This is the inside of the tire, and the sidewall is completely gone. So we don't know if he ran over something and punctured the tire. The crew doesn't know, and there's not really enough left of the tire for them to, make a good investigation and make a good guess. But then Nadeau hit the wall after blowing a right front tire down in 3 and 4.
There's a lot of pushing and shoving and gouging and rubbing going on out there.
Well, there really is. Earnhardt was following Scott Pruitt there, trying to get by him, and John Andretti went on by on the inside. So Earnhardt started in the middle, and that wasn't going to work.
So, John, these tires they're using tonight do not use the interliners that they normally use. Is that correct? It looks like that tire had an interliner in it.
And Tony Furr, the crew chief, says he thinks the brakes got so hot. You were just talking about brakes sometimes being white hot around 1,400 degrees. He thinks the brakes were so hot that it melted the bead on the inside of that right front tire, and that's what caused it to go down.
The leader is Rusty Wallace. He has led all but 1 lap, and he is 1.6 seconds ahead of Mike Skinner. Third place belongs to Ricky Craven, then Tony Stewart, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs 5th. We'll be right back. From the Pennzoil Copter Cam, circling overhead Richmond International Raceway, we see Rusty Wallace, who's the leader of the Pontiac Excitement 400, put a lap on Johnny Benson, who's running in the 37th position. Mike Skinner is running in 2nd. This is the battle for 3rd. Ricky Craven on the left, and now the 20 car of Tony Stewart challenges Ricky for that 3rd position. And it would appear gets him.
And Jeremy Mayfield, as we're watching that battle, as Stewart does make the pass, Jeremy Mayfield has come back out on the racetrack. But he's a lot of laps down, like 76.
And there's also Jeffrey Bodine, who was able to get by Dale Earnhardt Jr. a few laps ago, but put Jeffrey in 5th.
Boy, look at the right front rotor on Jeffrey Bodine's car. That's that red hot I was talking about. Ricky Craven, a little bit loose off turn 2.
Bodine will try to take advantage of that wiggle.
So difficult to pass down on that inside. Just can't get the traction off the corners. And of course, when you're down on the inside, your full line around the racetrack is taken away. And right here's a perfect example of it. They've run side by side now for about 7 or 8 laps. And DJ just can't get the traction coming off the corners.
That's for 16th position.
Right here is where he's hurting the most. It's just difficult coming off of that turn. Andretti had the traction coming off on that high line. Everybody is facing that when they try to pass.
The chassis that John Andretti is driving has 3 wins to its credit. He won with it at Martinsville in '99, and Bobby Hamilton won 2 races in it, one in '96 and the other in '98.
Kenny Schrader, the M&M's car, coming behind. Currently running in 18th position, started back in 34th.
Yeah, he came out of the pack of traffic back there behind him, including Ward Burton, who's the next car back. But he was back there with Wally Dallenbach and Sterling Marlin and a group of them back there. And Schrader has come out of that pack. Here's that pack that that Schrader was in about 10 laps ago. There's Sterling Marlin and Terry Labonte down on the inside.
Kenny Irwin is back there. So is Matt Kenseth a little bit further back. Hamilton is in 21st, and then three-car battle for the next position, and Irwin backs out.
Meanwhile, Mike Skinner has caught Rusty Wallace. Right on his back bumper, took a look coming off turn 2 for the lead. Same problem that Ned we saw with Dale Jarrett and all the rest of them. Coming off turn 2 is a struggle.
For a taste of the race, here's the Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage telemetry. Giving you the miles per hour, the reading from the tachometer, and you will notice how much the brake is used.
Oh, man, almost 7/8 of the brake pedal that he has. He goes down to 91 miles per hour, and he accelerates off turn 4. Down in turn 1 up to 145 or so, and he slams on the brakes. Oh, the traffic. Brett Bodine wanted to stay up there, wanted that outside groove, but Rusty just kind of forced his way in there and took it away from him.
Brett a lap down in 36th.
Lap cars and what have you. The last time by Jeffrey Bodine was the fastest car in the top 6. Never see Jeffrey back in 4th position. The power team car. Now he's on the bottom of the racetrack, but he's not in traffic. When he comes off these corners, he made it drift out against that outside retaining wall. But if there's another car there, it makes it awfully hard.
Here's the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated cars of Steve Park and Dale Earnhardt Jr. battling for the 7th and 8th position. Park has 7th.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. we're riding along with him. The Budweiser car told me that high groove said really feels good. You put that tire. Oh, there's Robbie Gordon going a lap down. Skinner tried to get that bottom line, tried to get Rusty caught on the outside of Robbie Gordon, couldn't quite make it work.
But here comes Skinner back on the inside. Nope, cannot make a move.
Rusty turns down the backstretch. We see 82, 8,200. Now he'll turn about 8,500 down the front stretch because it's longer, and he's got a better exit off turn 4. We'll watch as he comes down 8,900.
Yeah.
Jeff Burton continues to fight his way to the front. He's up to 10th position now. There he is behind Jeff Gordon.
Started back in 29th position.
There's a Super 8 serial, started 29th. And there is how he has gotten into the top 10. He has completed more than a fourth of this race already. But big traffic for the leader, Rusty Wallace. Elliott Sadler and several other slower cars in front.
Stacy Compton is right there. Joe Nemechek's not far in front of Rusty. They want to keep from going a lap down.
There you go, Rusty. I don't think the middle would be a good option.
Like the track is pretty much blocked up ahead. Sadler's on the inside and Compton running right ahead of Rusty Wallace. Nice headwear here at Richmond International Raceway tonight as the Pontiac Excitement 400 is led by Rusty Wallace. Welcome back to live coverage of the Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond International Raceway. Not much has happened. Rusty Wallace and Mike Skinner still trying to clear some of the slower traffic, and Rusty has managed to continue to hold off Skinner's challenge.
Yeah, not much has happened, Bob, but lots have happened because these guys, talking about Elliott Sadler, the 21, Stacy Compton, the 9, Joe Nemechek, they're fighting for their absolute life, trying to stay on the lead lap in front of Rusty Wallace. Hope a caution flag comes out. The caution car picks up Rusty Wallace. They need to go around and make up the entire three-quarter mile.
Battle for fifth is between Mark Martin and Ricky Craven.
Now, one thing that has happened here lately as we see Mark take over that position is that Jeffrey Bodine has moved around Tony Stewart and has moved up into third place. There's Tony in the car number 20, and there's Jeffrey. And he is closing the gap on the leader while they're caught up in that traffic running side by side back there. Jeffrey Bodine was about 4 seconds behind. He's now 1 3/4 seconds behind. Let's see if Mike Skinner can beat that.
Oh, I think he did.
Now he's trying to force Rusty up the hill, so, oh, no. Just, boys, be careful. Don't get them 3 wide coming off the corner. Doesn't work very well going in the corner, much less coming off. Careful now.
You see, the 21 car of Elliott Sadler, he's staying down on the inside and say, hey, take the outside. That's where you're supposed to pass when you're being lapped. But they haven't been able to do it because there have been cars up there on that outer groove and just haven't been able to move around him.
This is really helping all those guys back, you know, 3rd through 10th, I guess, because right now, the 5th place car, Ricky Craven, 6th place car is only 4.5 seconds behind.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, the competitors may not want to hear this, but the last time Rusty Wallace had this car at a racetrack was at Martinsville early this year. He led 5 times for 343 laps. That's only part of the story. He cut a right front tire in turn 2 at Martinsville, lost 2 laps, and made them both up to finish 10th. This is a pretty darn good race car.
Sure is. You know, we're talking about helping those guys behind. Ricky Rudd, for example, he's in 15th position. About 10 laps ago, he was 14 seconds behind the leader. Right now, he is 9 1/10 second behind. He's picked up 5 seconds.
That time by Bobby Labonte at the quickest speed back in the 8th position. Jeff Gordon 2nd, and Bobby Hamilton back in, what is that, the 20th position, was 3rd. I don't think we're going to see these first 2 cars show us any blinding speed right now. There's Elliott Sadler once again coming back. Oh, and Joe Nemechek almost spins coming off the corner.
And once again, the first 2 fastest are Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon, but 3rd quick that time was Dale Jarrett, who was running back in the 16th spot.
Oh, here we go. They're 3 wide, going in 1.
Oh, boy, let's see if they can come out. They went in there that way.
Skinner's on the inside trying to take the lead. But Rusty was on the outside. He held that lead. They had Nemechek in the middle. Oh, Ronnie Gordon hard in that outside.
Behind you. 13 is in the fence. Caution yet. Keep coming.
Yeah, there's a caution now.
Caution is out.
So Gordon's excursion into the wall brings out our 3rd caution of the evening.
And that right front tire is flat. And I guess that's what caused him to go in there.
It sure sounds like that. Once again, the brakes might be the culprit, getting so hot that they're just melting that tire. And let's face it, at 1,100 degrees, what kind of chance does that rubber have of lasting?
Benefiting from all this was Kenny Wallace and Stacy Compton. Both of them were close to going a lap down, but because of the caution, they remain on the lead lap as Gordon with some fire in the right front of that.
I don't think I want to. Let's see if we can see what happens. Never see him going down the corner. Starts on the outside, and that right front, he just went flat. He never turned, and then that wall he went.
Robbie Gordon was evasive when we asked him during qualifying yesterday if he was going to run the Indianapolis 500, but the release from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway says he is. The tire is on the right front, is still blazing there, BP.
I'll tell you what, now that right front tire changer, he gets my vote. He gets my vote. He went in there and took that tire off with it on fire. Yeah.
Well, the pits are closed, and here's Jeffrey Bodine coming down pit road. That's going to be a costly mistake for him.
Now, he should have stopped.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he'd been better off to stop while he was in there. Now, they didn't do anything to the car. I think they realized the mistake that they made, but he's going to go all the way to the end of the line.
Wow.
He has to sit there until the entire field comes around. Bill Weber?
Yeah, no, this will be interesting because remember, Dale Jarrett came down pit road once before and didn't stop and still receive the penalty. But the flag here is very hard to see. In fact, Skinner had just told his crew, make sure you tell me when pit road's open because I can't see it. Obviously, Jeff Bodine pitted too soon.
It's open now. Here they come down for their pit stops. Wallace, Skinner, Stewart, Martin, Park, Craven, Bobby Labonte, John Kernan.
Jeff Burton, who's charged from the back, they'll make another track bar adjustment. Also some air pressure adjustments, trying to tighten the car up a little bit. To Jerry Bunch.
Rusty Wallace at the nose of the car is sliding. They're going to go down on the air pressure across both front tires, up in the right rear. Trying to get the nose where it'll turn in the corners. Rusty's left side tires on.
4 tires and a track bar adjustment for Mike Skinner. This team furious about lap traffic. Wallace is the first off pit road, followed by the 31, then the 6, the 1, and the 18.
A huge traffic jam coming out of pit road.
Well, the 2 big losers this time is going to be Tony Stewart and Jeffrey Bodine. Obviously, we talked about Jeffrey Bodine, but Tony's crew had some problems that time. He's going to lose his spot.
They were third. Tony Stewart was third, but is going to lose a lot at track position. There's Benny's hero of the night. The blazing tire of Robbie Gordon was taken off. Everything's okay. Back in a moment. Perfect timing as we come back. The green flag drops and the Pontiac Excitement 400 is underway once again. The 21 car, we understand, is getting the black flag for passing on the wrong side before hitting the starting line. Up front, Rusty Wallace still leads. Skinner is still second. Now we have Mark Martin, Steve Park, and Bobby Labonte in the top 5. Jeffrey Bodine, who was running third but entered pit road when it was closed, has dropped all the way back to 31st position, the last car on the lead lap.
And he was penalized for entering the pit road without it being open, and his penalty at the end of the longest line, which made him start back to 31st. Last car on the lead lap.
Side of the racetrack. He's up to 6th spot, and now here's Mark Martin taking second from Mike Skinner. And Steve Park is coming up on the rear spoiler of the low Chevy.
I really look far. Something is dragging on the racetrack. I don't know exactly who that might be. Really get some pressure from Jimmy Spencer.
Jeff Burton right behind Spencer. Then comes Craven and Jeff Gordon to complete the top 10.
Spencer's car, we mentioned before how good he was running. He really runs good on new tires. And I noticed on that last long run that he dropped him back a little bit, but he still was having a good run.
Elliott Sadler coming off the corner slow. He did obey the black flag.
Earnhardt drove from 37th starting position to an 8th place finish last year in this race, and in the fall race he started 33rd and finished 6th.
Ricky Craven, the 50 car. Remember, he didn't change but 2 tires the first time. I'm assuming this time he changed 4, and he's up there trying to get by Jeff Burton, Jimmy Spencer, all these guys.
It's a good race car.
John Kernan, who's with Robbie Gordon.
And Robbie's crew is working on his car in the garage area. Robbie, what happened?
I don't know exactly what happened. I ran over some some debris or something, cut a right front tire, and it took off into the wall. It's unfortunate, you know, it's the last race with the Burger King program, and we just wanted to have a good run here.
Crew is working on his pancake the right side, and it's the third. He's the third driver up on my end of pit road who's had a right front go flat.
Well, here comes Mark Martin, who has a good run on Rusty Wallace, and at the line, I think Mark will get credit for leading that lap.
Well, it showed up on the monitor here, the scoring monitor, as being the leader.
That makes him our fourth leader of the evening. Besides Wallace, Skinner, Sadler, and now Mark Martin have been in front. 4 leaders and 5 lead changes. The battle, though, is side by side between Martin and Wallace.
Well, that time Rusty Wallace was shown on top. And Mark was 0 seconds, 0,000 seconds behind.
0.00. Pretty close, isn't it?
Close as you can get. Might have been that way. No. Mark was 1/100th of a second behind Rusty that time. You just see how difficult it is to pass down on the inside. Mark has a fast race car, but just getting that traction, even with the new tires on, is difficult.
And now Joe Nemechek in the Oakwood Homes car has gotten himself between Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace.
Now Joe is a lap down. He just had gone a lap down before this last caution.
Steve Park tries to take third from Mike Skinner.
That doesn't happen.
Sits back in 5th.
Dave Blaney comes down pit road to get back out on the racetrack again.
Just one car officially listed out of the race. That's the 91 of Todd Bodine. And Bill Weber has an update on the 20 car, who's in 9th spot.
And Bob, as you guys pointed out, he did lose some positions during that last round of pit stops, and the reason for that is he took rubbers out of the car. So they had to take the time to do that, and that's what cost them the position on the track, but they had to make the car better because they weren't content where they were. As for Dale Earnhardt Jr., he also lost several positions on pit road, but Tony Eury Jr. fessed up, missed a lug nut. That's what cost his driver time on pit road. And as for Bill Elliott, he put a rubber in during that last pit stop. He was another guy who was running 11th, came out 23rd. Bill is trying to fight his way back up to the field. So 3 guys that were running up front decided they had to make these adjustments on pit road, knowing they were going to lose track position, but thought in the long run it was the best move to make at this point of the race.
And Elliott is up to 18th, and running right behind him, we're on board with Bobby Hamilton and Fred Flintstone.
Riding along there, enjoying that.
This is our Howard Johnson's onboard camera. Our friends liking this ride.
Boy, I tell you what, a lot of people, millions of people would like to have the position that Fred has tonight, huh? Riding along in a Winston Cup car.
He looks scared to me.
I wouldn't want that position.
No. Bobby Hamilton one in the corner. His brake rotors are very, very hot as these.
He has 3 straight top 10 finishes here, trying to work his way into the top 10 right now. Here's 11th. Make that 10th, 11th, and 12th. And we're on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as he looks ahead to Spencer and Gordon.
Now, Earnhardt Jr. lined up 14th on the restart. Tony Stewart lined up 13th. Dale Jarrett was 12th, so both of those drivers have passed DJ. Down here, Mark Martin's got a run. He's taking the lead for sure now.
Go down to Jerry Bunch.
I expect to see Rusty Wallace go right back by. This is a courtesy move here. The 6th car wanted to lead a lap for 5 bonus points. Rusty said, okay, I'm a nice guy. I'll let you go by. He led a lap. Now Mark Martin moves over, and Rusty goes back by. Common courtesy. He gets to lead 1 lap. Now he has 5 bonus points as well. Let's go down the bill.
But that didn't have to happen. On lap 133, when they were door-to-door crossing the line, NASCAR originally told the 6 that Rusty led the lap. Mark was furious on the radio, saying, I know I led that lap. The team was running to officials. They ran down pit road. Finally, NASCAR came back and said, Mark did lead that lap. So he led lap 133. The team said, you can relax a little bit. You got that lap. So Mark got his 5 points on 133 to John Kernan.
Remember last week in California, every pit stop that I reported on for Dale Earnhardt, they were practically rebuilding the race car every single stop. That's not the case tonight. Earnhardt started back in 31st, but has moved his way up into the top 10 thanks to the way the car is running on the track and also thanks to the work of his crew in the pits. They've only made some slight air pressure adjustments, and that last pit stop, they did it in 15.5 seconds. The Flying Aces are back.
Right now involved in a good battle for position. Up ahead is the 7th place car of Jeff Burton, and he is alongside the 6th place car of Tony Stewart. As 148 laps have been completed, Pennzoil Copter Cam showing you this battle. And there is the leader, Rusty Wallace, who has now stretched his advantage on Mark Martin to 0.6 of a second. We'll be back with more live coverage in just a moment of the Pontiac Excitement 400. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, John Kernan, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch back with you on a beautiful Saturday evening in Richmond, Virginia. It's the Pontiac Excitement 400. Second place now belongs to Mike Skinner, who was able to pass Mark Martin not too long ago as Rusty continues to lead.
On the outside, coming off turn 4, Mark looks up in the mirror, sees Skinner coming, realizes he's faster, moves over and just says, all right, Mike, go get that 2 car. Well, Mike hasn't been able to get that 2 car.
Well, he's gained on him, though, Benny.
Is he?
Yes, he is. He's cut it down. He was about 1.5 seconds behind, and now he's just a fraction under 1 second behind the last time around.
Jeff Gordon gets by the 99 car. Jeff Burton moves into the 8th position.
Ricky Craven has dropped back. We talked about him a little bit earlier. He's dropped back to 12th position now. These cars, all of these cars have passed him since we saw him up there earlier.
Jeffrey Bodine, who, remember, restarted in the 31st position, the last car on the lead lap, has worked his way up to 20th. So Jeffrey's given this Power Team Chevy a good ride tonight.
Since the restart, we see he started 4th initially, but after the restart, he was 31st on lap 125. And here we are 34 laps later. He's in 20th position and about to take over 19th, trying to.
Robert Presley in car number 77. See Matt Kenseth there behind him. Car number 17. He's already passed him. I tell you, that's a real testament not only to the race car, having a good race car, but to Jeffrey Bodine. His first race back after that long recuperation period. That's impressive.
That's kind of why I asked you guys if you had ever had a long period, because you would think that the adrenaline just builds up to the point where you can hardly stand it. And when you do get in the car, you want to give your best showing. Now we're on board with Sterling Marlin. Ooh. That's Wally Dallenbach that he just went around.
He passed him, and Dallenbach right now is having some problems. Oh, a little rubbing there as Michael Waltrip gets by.
That's a lot of rubbing. Oops.
Waltrip had all kinds of problems qualifying, and he also rubbed the wall earlier in the race tonight.
Wally let him know he didn't appreciate that. One thing you have to be awfully careful of is not to get a fender in on the tire so it'll rub. Now, on the short tracks, they do cut out a little bit more. They're allowed to cut out a little bit more than they would be on a super speedway. So you get it mashed in sometimes and it don't hurt you too bad, but there are circumstances where you can knock it in there and it'll rub, and first thing you know, you're doing the hit with the wall run.
Well, Michael coming off awfully close to that wall. Turn 2.
has won here on this racetrack in a Busch race. Earlier tonight, told you how he got up into the wall. This is when it was.
Trying to pass Ken Schrader. And
you see when he backed off the throttle, all these cars shooting by.
But Michael is in 26th position right now.
Michael Walter, the Nation's Rent, New Holland onboard camera.
Jeffrey Bodine has been able to get around Bill Elliott, so move Jeffrey up to the 18th position.
So now it becomes not so much the positions that he lost, but the time that he lost, because he is 13.5 seconds behind Rusty Wallace.
Right there is Terry Labonte, who's running 17th. Elliott Sadler is 2 laps down, not on the lead lap.
He had just lost a lap right before the last caution came out, and then he was penalized, had to come in for a stop-and-go penalty on the restart of the race. That cost him another lap. On that, Elliott Sadler has to watch this battle. Earnhardt up to 6th place now in the black number 3. Jeff Gordon in number 24, and Bobby Labonte in the green number 18. And there's Jeff Burton right behind them. Burton in the 9th position.
So Jeff Gordon marching his way to the front. Meanwhile, snapshot on Dale Earnhardt. Started 31st and is now in 6th spot.
And he's got the car that he owns, driven by Steve Park, right ahead of him.
And right in front of Steve Park is Jerry Nadeau, the Michael Holland. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Joe Nemechek.
A lot of blue cars out here now. And that's one of them right there, the 33. And Jerry Nadeau's car is one. We got a problem somewhere. Caution is out.
We do. 2 cars.
I got a caution on the front stretch. Caution by the start-finish line. It's in the middle of the track. Dead center of the track.
1 car in the center. That's Irwin. Another was up high against the wall, and that's Robert Presley down there on the low side. So there are 3 cars. John, what happened? You saw it.
Bob, what I saw, the 27 car come off of turn 4, and it looks like maybe he blew a right front tire, because all of a sudden you saw sparks coming out from under the right front of the car. That shot him right up into the 42 car of Kenny Irwin Jr. and forced him into the wall. But that's what it looked like from down here on this end of pit road. It happened very, very fast.
And my guess is Robert Presley ran over debris and cut the left rear tire down. When he got down to turn 1, spun around and smacked the wall. Here we see coming off the contact between the 27 and the 42 just drove the Irwin directly in that outside retaining wall. Man, hardly.
And then the Presley spin occurred out of turn number 2, as Benny indicated. And ran over some debris. Anyway, Kenny's car is right in the middle of the racetrack, just beyond the start-finish line.
And here is Robert Presley spinning, coming off. And we see nothing's damaged, but there he goes in the wall. It is the left rear tire that's flat that caused the spin. John?
Dale Earnhardt is in. Just a little bit of damage on the left front of that car, but not enough to mess it up. It's a 4-tire change. Last time it was 15.5 seconds. They're already on the left side tires. Chocolate Myers with the gas in. That's done. Down to third march.
Rusty Wallace are going to correct the air pressure change they made a moment ago in the front as we check down the Bill Weber.
Slight air pressure adjustment, 4 tires for Skinner. He was able to focus Wallace on the track and beat him off of pit road.
Jeffrey Bodine comes off there right by the 4 car. Like he's going to come out about the same place that he went into pit road.
Now those not on the lead lap on the right of your screen coming down pit road. Our view is from the pace car. We are under our 4th caution of the evening. A 3-car incident. Kenny Irwin, Mike Bliss, and Robert Presley all spinning and crashing here at Richmond International Raceway. 174 laps are completed in the Pontiac Excitement 400. We'll be right back. Still under caution here at the Pontiac Excitement 400 for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. The www.nascar.com website is where you go for all the news involving NASCAR's divisions. And, of course, the garage cam is operational at the Winston Cup circuit. You can find out what's happening in the garage area. www.nascar.com. Well, the big month of May is here, and our coverage of the Indianapolis 500 begins on Sunday. We'll have daily reports, plus have constant coverage either on ESPN, ESPN2, or ABC on qualifying days. And then, of course, the big Indianapolis 500 is coming up on Memorial Day weekend. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. While the debris is being cleared from the crash, we'll take another break. Stay with us. Back at Richmond International Raceway in Henrico County, Virginia, the Pontiac Excitement 400. John Kernan has caught up with Robert Presley, who was involved in the most recent crash.
Well, Robert, what happened?
Well, I don't know if I run over something or if our brake caliper come off and somebody hit it, but something, we lost the brakes on the back of it, went down into one. They cut down the left rear tire, and I mean, that's it for this Jasper engine. We just sat in there riding, man, had a good race car waiting for halfway, staying out of trouble, but can't finish it like this.
Robert Presley very disappointed. His crew is working. We're going to check with Mike Bliss to see if, in fact, Robert, I believe, was ahead of the 27 and the 42. He thinks a part of the caliper off the left rear may have come off of his car, and Bliss might have run over it, and that might have caused that other accident. So we'll check on that, Bob.
All right, while we have the opportunity, here's a NASCAR 2000 moment brought to you by Chase Authentics. We go down to pit road, and here is Dr. Jerry Punch.
Bob, we often hear crews talking about buildup. That's the air pressure building up inside a tire when the air actually heats up inside the tire. Now, here at Richmond, buildup can be 12, 13, 14 pounds. And what happens is, as the air heats up inside the tire runs on the race car, the air begins to expand and adds more pressure. Now, what also happens is, if you put air in that tire from a normal air compressor, that compressor has moisture in it. The more moisture, the more buildup, because water expands faster than air. And that was a big concern for teams. Buildup would vary during a race. Well, teams have solved that problem by going to the hospital. Let us show you here that they have nitrogen compressed air. This is hospital nitrogen. This is actually a dry air. It has a filter inside this tank, and this is basically much, much drier than normal compressed air. Now they can fill up their tires with nitrogen and be able to control the buildup. The average buildup now at Richmond, about 6.5 to 8 pounds. Much more consistent on the race car simply by going to the hospital and getting a tank of nitrogen. Bill Weber?
Well, Jeff Bodine got a big break because his return was in a night race, but basically he's not going to be able to go to the distance. They've got Todd Bodine here. They want to make a driver change. They were going to try and do it now because they thought they'd have enough time, and they are going to go ahead and do it now. But the problem is the field just got one to go. They told Jeff, go ahead and stay out, but the problem was he'd already loosened his belts. So Jeff Bodine will be pulled out of this race car. Todd Bodine will climb in. The goal was to try and do this all under caution. Apparently that's not going to be able to happen because the field should get the green next time by. Again, this is Jeffrey Bodine's return to Winston Cup racing, his first Winston Cup race of the year, his first race of any type since that spectacular crash in the truck race at Daytona. Todd Bodine in the car, the crewmen trying to get him belted in, but the green is out and they will lose at least one lap, probably more.
It was an impressive return to racing, though, for Jeffrey Bodine, who gave that car a very, very good run while he was in it. But Brother Todd now takes over as we are back to racing with Mike Skinner at the front of the field. But here comes Rusty Wallace to the inside off turn number 4. And Rusty is going to go back into the lead.
I believe Rusty likes that leading part here tonight. Seems that way, doesn't it? Man, oh man.
He has led 167 of the first 183 laps. Skinner has led 11, Martin 3, and Elliott Sadler and Chad Little have each led 1. John Kernan has caught up with Mike Bliss, another driver involved in that crash.
We're down here in turns 3 and 4 where it's a little bit loud. But Mike, did you run over something you think from the 77 car? What happened?
You know, I was running under Kenny, and I wasn't tight under him at all. I was just biding my time, you know. It's pretty slick on the bottom. I come off before, and I was underneath him, and it pushed real bad. And, got into Kenny, and I hate it for Kenny and hate it for, you know, 27 car. And it's too early to have something like that to happen. It it's just, I don't know, maybe it's an arrow push or something was on the track. I don't know. It's unfortunate. I hate to take someone out, and I hate to take ourselves out.
Mike Bliss very disappointed. I can tell you from seeing it firsthand. When it turned right in a big hurry.
Yeah, both he and Kenny Irwin had very hard contact with the wall. Now here is Mark Martin mounting a challenge, and also Tony Stewart comes up in the 4th position. Now Nemechek in the 33 is not on the lead lap.
Jeff Gordon back there, he's in 5th position. He gained a couple spots on that last pit stop. Also Dale Jarrett, Ford Qualicare, his crew picked up a couple spots, but Bobby Lamani's team had a little problem. He lost 3 spots that last pit stop of the team. Earnhardt finally got in front of his car, didn't he?
Yeah. Earnhardt 6th and Steve Park 7th.
One car, the Pennzoil car, driven by Steve Park. The owner is Dale Earnhardt.
And here's a good battle between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Jarrett. And right there also is Jeff Burton.
Battling for the 8th position. Earnhardt gets it. And Jarrett drops back to 9th. And now Burton, as you mentioned, he's right there. He's going to take that position away. Jarrett's car is not real good on brand new tires. After they run about 20 laps, he seems to come alive then.
I'll tell you that Todd Bodine, in relief of Jeffrey Bodine, his brother, lost a couple of spots. He's not that far in front of the leader, so I would guess it's probably going to go down 3 laps unless there's a cause of flag pretty quickly.
Tony Stewart goes to 3rd position, passing Mark Martin. Well, Stewart once again has a good car here at Richmond.
And he's still running that bottom groove. Yep. You see most of these guys go up to the middle of the top of the racetrack. Well, that time he tried, well, he did go a very, very high entry in the corner.
Of the top 30 in Winston Cup points, only one driver among them has not led a lap in the year 2000.
And that would be Tony Stewart.
That is correct.
That's hard to believe. It is. The year that he had last year.
Yep.
And the momentum he had at the end of the year. He won the next to the last race.
Mike Skinner trying to get on the inside of Rusty Wallace. We saw that. These cars came off turn 2, but when they come off 4, Rusty still has that 4 or 5 car length advantage.
Once again, some Jimmy Dean telemetry on Rusty Wallace's car.
Boy, a lot of brake Rusty's using going in the corner. Down to about 95. Let's see what kind of mile per hour he'll turn.
Better action out here on the racetrack. There is Dale Earnhardt Jr. passing the 1 car of Steve Park.
His teammate.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to go up and take a look at his dad there.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I guess that during practice today, that Junior ran in the back of his dad.
Winner at Texas in his 12th NASCAR Winston Cup start, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
But he started, Bob. It's like someone is running the back of the 3 car already. It's like the rear bumper's flopping around a little bit.
I was going to say, despite the fact that he's won a race, he is 2nd in the Rookie of the Year points. And of course, the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year award will be handed out at the end of the year, and it appears to be a very good battle shaping up between Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth. Rusty Wallace leads by about a half a second, almost half a second. And Tony Stewart is about a second behind. Earnhardt Jr. 11 points behind Matt Kenseth, and Stacy Compton 32 behind in the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year contest. ESPN's live coverage of the Pontiac Excitement 400 from Richmond International Raceway being brought to you by Big Kmart, changing for the better. By Denny's. Race on over to Denny's for our Kellogg's Country and Specialties Slams. And by Roundup. Roundup kills weeds down to the root. Roundup, no root, no weed, no problem. Just past the halfway mark here with 205 laps now completed, and Terry Labonte's car is up against the wall. No caution, remains out, and Tony Stewart, you saw there in that previous shot, has moved to second position, passing Mike Skinner. Labonte gets the car going once again, running back at about the, well, he was in the 18th position, and he's going to fall back now to the 24th spot.
Let's see, there we see going in the corner. Is there contact? Yes, some contact between Ward Burton, the 22 car, and Terry Labonte. And Terry does a great job to save the car, drifts up against the outside wall. I don't think he ever touched it, man.
I don't believe he did either. But boy, did he come close. Let's see if we can see any damage on the right side. Doesn't look like it.
And there is Tony Stewart, who closes in now on Rusty Wallace.
Wants to lead his first lap of the year 2000.
He led 17 events in 1999, a total of 1,223 laps, but he hasn't led one in the year 2000. Let's see if he is able to break that streak.
Man, did you see him turn left, nail the gas, and drive up beside of Rusty Wallace?
Well, here they come off the fourth corner. Is he going to lead the lap? I believe he did by about a fender.
Well, the scoring computer says he did. About 2/100ths of a second.
So for the first time in the year 2000, Tony Stewart leads a race.
And the spotter would say clear.
Yes. Now we'll see if he can drive away from Rusty. Bill is with Jeffrey Bodine.
That's a good look for you. You're a tough young man. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I just thank God I'm back. You know, I'm sorry I didn't make the race, the whole race. I really felt in my heart I was going to have trouble tonight. It's so hot and humid. And I really wanted to drive California last week to prepare me for this. This is a much tougher track than California, but we came here. We qualified really good. We were running good. I made a few rookie mistakes. I stalled the car leaving the pits. Then I came in the pits when they weren't open. Nobody told me that it wasn't open. But even at that time, I knew it was going to be tough to finish. But I saw that Todd had trouble. And I'll tell you, there's no one I'd rather have in the car than Todd right now. He's my little brother. And I love him, and he's doing a great job.
We'll see you at Charlotte.
I bet you will.
He sure is doing a great job.
You know, I told you that he'd lost a couple of laps to the driver change, and he's in front of Rusty Wallace. I said he'll probably go 3 laps down. That's not the case, isn't it?
No, he's just driven away from Rusty Wallace. He has gained a good third of a lap on Rusty since he came out of the pits. He's the fastest car on the racetrack, no question.
2 laps down in 32nd position. Todd crashed earlier in his Joe Falk car, and so he drives relief now for his brother.
Kyle Petty, the Hot Wheels car, who has spent some time in the garage you're in. Tony Stewart just pulling away from Rusty Wallace a little bit.
About 0.6 of a second now separating the two. So Tony Stewart is beginning to pull away a bit from Rusty, who has dominated so far. But now Stewart, who won here last fall, has the lead. We'll be right back. September 11th, 1999, the 1997 Indy Racing Northern Lights Series champion, a rookie in the NASCAR Winston Cup division, wins here at Richmond International Raceway, takes his first NASCAR Winston Cup victory. And he returns to that same track in May of the year 2000, and he has an 0.8 of a second lead on Rusty Wallace.
I bet there's one thing he won't do if he does win tonight.
Jump on the top of the car.
I bet he won't jump on top of the roof. Now, he was running on the bottom of the racetrack, and I find it interesting. Once he got the car in front, he moved up on top of the racetrack where everyone else has been running.
There is Rusty, who has led the most laps so far. Now he begins to fall within the clutches of the 31 car of Mike Skinner. He is, of course, third, about 1.5 seconds behind Tony Stewart. Here's the 4th place car of Mark Martin. who has led 3 laps so far. Jeff Gordon has not led a lap tonight, but he is in the 5th position.
Dale Earnhardt is next to Goodwrench Chevrolet. Running in 6th, we see Scott Pruitt, the Tide car, on the inside. He's back in 33rd spot, 4 laps down. And there comes another Dale Earnhardt, Jr., the Budweiser Chevrolet.
He's running in 7th position. And then there is Jeff Burton in the X-side Ford. He is in the 8th position, 7 seconds behind the leader.
Steve Park, the Pennzoil Chevrolet goes by. We see Dale Jarrett come by. The Ford Quality Care car, who's back in the 10th position, followed closely by Ricky Rudd in 11th.
And then comes Bobby Labonte. He is in the 12th position.
And we get down to Bill Weber on pit road.
And just to follow up on Bobby Labonte, his last pit stop did take a little longer. He did sacrifice track position, but he did the exact same thing his teammate Tony Stewart did on the previous pit stop. Took rubbers out of the right rear and left rear springs. Now, it obviously hasn't worked as well for the 18 as it has for the 20. Bobby needs the track to tighten up and come to him a little bit. He's still chattering the tires somewhat, but so far the track has not come to him. They're hoping with almost half the race to go that does happen. But teammates using and sharing their knowledge.
Bobby Labonte started 9th, fell to as low as 13th. He has been as high as 5th, and he is currently now 12th, and he will celebrate his 36th birthday on Monday.
And speaking of birthdays, that camera shot right there.
Yes.
Was from a camera location in the inside of turn 3. Dean Kaminsky celebrated his birthday today.
Should I say how old he is?
No.
Okay. Dean, happy birthday.
Yes.
We'll keep it a secret.
Jimmy Spencer in the car number 26. He is in the 13th position.
And once again, we'll cut to Dean's camera. There you go. Even on his birthday, he's working, getting us great shots.
Working hard, knowing right when to drop back to the 14th place car, John Andretti.
Followed closely by Bill Elliott, the McDonald's car. He is 15th. He is 16 and a half seconds behind the leader.
There's Ricky Craven, who is running in 16th position. He's had a good run, but now falls back to the middle of the pack.
And right behind him was the 16 car in 17th place of Kevin LePage, and then this battle going on behind them.
It's his 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And Chad Little's in there. He's 23rd. And Michael Waltrip's there as well in the picture. He's 24th.
Chad Little stayed out on that last caution and led a lap. So he was at the tail end of the pack, so he's trying to get back up through there. There were 27 cars on the lead lap.
Matt Kenseth is coming off his best career finish at California last weekend. He finished in 3rd spot and led 120 laps. And also he finished 2nd in the Busch race here last night behind Jeff Green.
Jeff Green, who won the race, yes. Mark Martin did not win. Had a very fast race car, finished 4th.
Pit strategy. Got him. Chad Little trying to pass Ward Burton on the inside. Ward Burton, the yellow and black cat Pontiac.
Ward began his NASCAR Winston Cup career here at Richmond International Raceway in March of 1994. Tony Stewart is cruising. He's got it on cruise control and now is more than a second and a half ahead of Rusty Wallace and more than 2 seconds ahead of Mike Skinner. 235 laps are completed here in the Pontiac Excitement 400. Back in a moment.
Now TV.
And as you rejoin us, the caution is out here at Richmond. The 5th time this evening. It's Ricky Craven who spun and hit the wall in turn number 2. Here it is.
Just a very lazy spin. I don't know. And there is some contact, not a lot, but some contact with the outside retaining wall.
This comes on lap 239. Craven trying to get that car headed back in the right direction.
And we see all the tires are up. Now, all these cars, they're just going to boil down to what we talked about at the very top of the show. Execution in the pits.
That's right. And right now, their challenge comes for those crew members.
Let's go down to John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt hits his mark perfectly. It'll be a 4-tire change. He just told his crew chief, Kevin Hamlin, I don't want any changes on the car. Very happy. Already done with the right sides around to the left side. You can see sparks flying off the lug nuts. Back to Jerry Punch.
Rusty Wallace, major changes. 1 round to wedge out the track bar down a 1/4 round. Air pressure change, both front tires. Biggest change tonight for Rusty Wallace. Let's go down to Bill.
Second straight stop for Tony Stewart. 4 tires, no changes. Rusty beats him off pit road. Then the 20 and the 24 and the 3, and lots of traffic down there.
Lots of traffic. But you're right, Rusty Wallace is going to win the race off pit road and regain the lead. A 16-second pit stop for Rusty Wallace.
Dale Jarrett, they had a problem with the right rear on his car. His pit stop was 23.5 seconds.
Whoa. Dale was running 7th when the caution came out. Well, the track crew is checking over the racetrack, and all appears to be well. All the trucks, it seems, is going back to their assigned location, so this could be a short caution period. We'll take you inside a pit stop now. The crew cam on the 7 team.
The Jackman, Rip Goodrich. Jack goes under, goes up. And you see those guys quickly jerk those tires off. We see all the damage that Michael has on his Nation's Rent car. Rip lets the car down, goes around the left side. 1 pump, 2 pumps, it's up. Tires come off. All right, you got to make sure that tire doesn't hit the jack, knock it down. He watches, lets the jack down, and away he goes. And folks, that's 4 tires and fuel. Doesn't take long.
Down to John Koenig.
Sterling Marlin on pit road. They had the hood up, changing the power steering pump. Remember a few years ago, Mark Martin drove almost the entire race without power steering, how whipped he was. Sterling couldn't hardly get the wheel to turn, so they're underneath changing the power steering pump upstairs.
Caution out with Rusty Wallace back in front of the Pontiac Excitement 400. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Green flag out at Richmond International Raceway, the Pontiac Excitement 400 at competitive speed once again. Rusty gets a good jump on Tony and the rest. And now at least one car is going to slide up between first and second, that being Elliott Sadler.
He's 2 laps down, trying to get one of those laps. He's driving hard, trying to do that.
I tell you what, we got a real scramble going on back there between Jeff Gordon and Mike Skinner. A battle for the 3rd position.
Well, Gordon has picked up positions on every pit stop.
Dale Earnhardt is also in the mix, and so is his son, Earnhardt Jr.
And Earnhardt Sr. Oh, man. That was close.
Very close.
Dale Earnhardt, the 3 car, gets into the 4th position. Now Junior trying to get in the middle. Oh, man, coming off 3 wide. They made it somehow.
Johnny Benson there in the 10 car, 2 laps down at 29th. Here comes Ricky Rudd to the inside of him. Ricky is battling with Skinner.
Trying to take over that 6th position.
Johnny Benson in the car number 10 was caught in the middle there. We see the 60 car possibly dying. He's in there battling, but he's 2 laps down, back in 30th position. But his car is fast enough. If he could get up there and get by these cars, he might have a chance of getting one of those laps back. But he's got a long way to go.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Bud car, gets in front of the Goodrich Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car has been very fast on new tires. Now, notice on that last run, he had dropped back. He had gotten up to about 7th or 8th place and had dropped back to 10th or 11th when the caution came out. But he's fast on new tires.
Jerry Punch is with Ricky Craven.
Ricky, after an impressive run, not the way you wanted the night to end, what happened out there?
Well, the car was really good early. It was probably the best all night on 2 tires. And then the last set of tires were really, really tight. We needed to run high, but not quite that high. And I just lost it getting in. Got get out from underneath me. But really proud of the guys and the progress that we've made. And it's fun, you know. It wasn't fun long enough, but we really enjoyed ourselves.
Took some time off to get the team organized, and apparently it has paid off big time for you tonight.
Yeah, it has. It was painful to watch on TV, but this is rewarding, and I think this will pump everybody up. And we're going to run 3 or 4 of the next races, and then we'll take another break. But I'm proud of these guys, and it's want to say hi to everybody back home. Haven't seen everybody for a while. Good to see you.
Good to see Ricky, but not before it's over. Ricky Craven had a pretty good night going early on, guys.
And I like a guy who says it was my fault, too.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Elliott now runs in the 13th position. Right behind him is Kevin LePage, FamilyClick.com.
And right behind him comes Kenny Schrader, John Andretti, 15th and 16th. Dale Jarrett's in that group.
DJ had just passed the 43 of 4 or 5 laps ago and was on the outside of Bill Elliott, which is Bill's up to 13th, and DJ almost got into the wall off the turn 2. He got squeezed out there, but got off the gas, and now is trying to gain momentum again.
Matt Kenseth there in the 18th position. Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt contesting the 5th spot.
You see Jeff Gordon's been able to get by. Or was he in front before? I guess he was in front before.
Yeah, he was in Earnhardt before.
John Kernan has more on Dale Earnhardt running 5th.
Just before Dale Jr. passed his father, Dale Sr., Dale Sr. radioed in and told his crew chief Kevin Hamlin that the car was just a little bit too tight. Kevin Hamlin said 10-4, so Earnhardt trying to ride it out right now. He seemed to run pretty well on long runs, so maybe the car will loosen up a little bit once some more heat and wear and build up air pressure buildup gets into the tires. But it looked like that time to me, did he come close to hitting the wall on turn 4?
Came awfully close, John, but I don't think he hit it.
The 99 car of Jeff Burton, the Excite car on the outside of Bobby Labonte. It's a battle for the 8th position. Martin, who was up in the 3rd spot, falling back to 10th. I guess he must have had a bad pit stop that last time. When I say a bad pit stop, all we're talking about is a second or so. Going from 3rd back to 10th.
There's Mark Martin back in 10th position.
So Mike Skinner, there's Skinner on the inside of Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt got by him a little bit ago, and it almost got together off turn 4.
Teammates running side by side through the first corner. And Bobby Labonte looks like he might make it 3, huh?
I don't think Labonte's going to do that.
No, he's the points leader. He said that wouldn't be smart.
That is a good point, Ned. If he was 6th in the points, he might, but not as a points leader. And Nemechek, the Oakwood Homes car, in the middle of all that, he's a lap down.
In 26th position, 25 cars still on the lead lap.
And 3 cars out of the race. Mike Bliss, Kenny Irwin, and Todd Bodine, all 3 from Cracker, now make the Ricky Craven car also out of the race. So 4 are on the sidelines. Everybody else still running. Speed of the race just a little over 100 miles an hour. We have had 5 cautions for 37 laps. As we watch this battle continue between Earnhardt and Skinner.
Well, Bobby Labonte decided to make it 3 laps. He said, I've raced along with these guys long enough down here trying to see which way they were going to go, so I'll just get in there and mix it up with them.
Now, this is where it's going to be a problem right here. They did that good, didn't they?
They really did on one little bump that I saw. Skinner got in there and a little bit.
Man, oh man.
Wow.
So Bobby will stay on the lead.
They told him not to pit because Rusty didn't come on, but it was too late. Earnhardt was already past the entrance to pit road, so they're going to go ahead and change 4 tires. Bobby Labonte coming down pit road as well to get service after that spin. But 4 tire change, no adjustments for Dale Earnhardt. They talked about taking 2 tires, and then they said, no, nobody's coming in. Go ahead and stay out. And Earnhardt said, well, it's too late.
Several take advantage of this caution to come in for pit stops. We go down to Bill Weber, who's there with Bobby Labonte.
And Bobby Labonte, of course, brought out the caution. A lot of traffic as his team finishes up on the right side, then swings around to the left. Now Jimmy Makar has told him, you're going to be okay. Take your time. Make sure you get it right. There's a tire laying on the right side of that car. And they bring it back over. We'll have to see if they come back in. Caution is out. 264 laps on the board. Rusty Wallace, Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., your leader.
About a half a lap from going back to green. Here's some replays of what just happened.
There's Circuit City on board, and we see we go on the spin cycle. I was really concerned that Bobby might back across the racetrack. He didn't. Everything is fine. He's now, but unfortunately, he's now back in the 25th position as we get to green.
Last car on the lead lap. Here is Todd Bodine in that car number 60. He was fast. He was one of the fastest cars on the track. He would like to get in front of Rusty Wallace and get one of those laps back. He is 2 down. 28th position right now.
And boy, he's got a good run, doesn't he?
That car gets a bite coming off the low side of the racetrack. Rusty might be well served just to say, hey, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Todd's almost.
Oh, nice save, Todd.
Almost.
Good job.
Okay. That was a great job.
It sure was.
All that momentum lost, though.
Yeah, and Tony Stewart got that right. So he's got 2 cars fast now to get one of those laps back.
I think when he does that you get that right rear really warm, and it takes a few laps. Ray Evernham was telling me in California, when you do that, you get the right rear really warm. It takes a few laps to get back to its normal temperature and start getting the grip it did beforehand.
Well, the 21 car is also 2 laps down. He is battling Todd Bodine for position. And Joe Nemechek, the other car there, he's only 1 lap down.
Let's take a look at a Pontiac Grand Prix race recap. Rusty has led 223 of the 271 laps that have been run so far. 14 lead changes, 6 caution periods for 45 laps, and the most recent caution took that average speed down below 100 miles an hour. There's a look at who has led and how many. Stewart now has moved to the 2nd highest number of laps led, but he's far, far behind Rusty's total of 223 and counting.
So Rusty Wallace will win the Gatorade $10,000 prize for leading the most laps here at Richmond International Raceway. Oh, and see, Jimmy Spencer got all of a sudden gets high and several cars going by.
4 cars out of the race at this point.
Oh, you wasn't finished. Sorry, Bob.
Sorry. All right, here is Mark Martin taking 7th and Chad Little into the wall.
Oh, man. Heavy contact.
You know what's probably going to happen here? That is heavy contact for Chad Little. The caution is out. He's trying to get out of his car because there's smoke coming out. I don't know if he has fire inside or what, but Dale Earnhardt might be leading this race because if everybody pits, he's going to be staying out there a bit. Let's see.
Chad was running in 21st position when the car hit the wall, and he climbs out over at the exit of turn number 2 at the beginning of the backstretch. He appears to be okay, but anxious to get out of that car.
Well, there's a lot of flame over there, and that's what he's trying to get away from.
And the pits are open. We'll see who, if anyone, chooses to come in. And
most of the leaders are. Yep, Earnhardt will stay out there. He was just in not long ago.
Down to John Curtin once again.
Jeff Burton's crew still trying to tighten the car up. An air pressure adjustment in the left rear. They've got the right sides off. They'll swing around to the left side. A 4-tire change to Dr. Jerry Punch and Rusty Wallace's pit.
They just pitted 36 laps ago, but they still are going to be very, very close on fuel. Lap 275. 4 tires, no adjustment for the leader, Rusty Wallace. Left side tires going on. He's down and away. Let's go down to Bill.
Left side tires are on the track. Right right there with beat the 24 and the 2 and raced the 8 and the 31 off pit road. 31 still sitting in his stall.
And here comes Ken Schrader and Ward Burton and Jimmy Spencer out of the front pit. So everybody is out now, and we're waiting the cars not on the lead lap to come down. And as they cross the line, you are going to be right, Ned. The leader is going to be Dale Earnhardt.
And Bill Elliott did not stop, so he is going to be in second place.
Third, Matt Kenseth. Fourth, John Andretti. And here's a replay from onboard Sterling Marlin. Up ahead of him there, you can see the impact.
Right front tire once again goes flat on the John Deere Ford, just directly in the wall, and look at that tremendous flame.
All this coming at the 276 lap mark. So Dale Earnhardt leads the Pontiac Excitement 400. Live NASCAR Winston Cup racing for you here at Richmond tonight, and we have racing for you tomorrow afternoon. A big double header, as a matter of fact. It begins at 1:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. The Ram Tough 200 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Greg Biffle on the front row along with Jack Sprague. Then at 4:30 on ESPN2, our first live Thunder telecast of the year 2000, the Coors Light Silver Bullet Series with Gary Lee and Larry Rice and others. That's at 4:30 on ESPN2. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. One lap to go, back to green. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
And just want to update you on Bobby Labonte. First of all, that tire on the right side of his car on the previous pit stop was not his tire, so there's no penalty. But his tire carrier, Scott Hewitt, did twist his knee. They put some ice on it. They think he's going to be okay. They do have a backup plan if they need it, but they think he's going to be all right for the rest of the race. Some of these guys I thought might come down and top off because their fuel could probably go the distance, but certainly they'll need tires before the end of the race. We'll see what happens. Let's go to Jerry.
Teams are trying to remove those right side tires under the new NASCAR rule to get them out of the way of the cars behind them. But 3 times tonight, the right side tire off the Pennzoil Chevrolet hitting in front of Rusty Wallace has rolled down in front of Rusty Wallace's car. Now, it may not be a problem right now, but if it comes down to one final pit stop, twice Rusty had to dodge it. Robin Pemberton and the crew have complained, and NASCAR has spoken to Steve Park and his crew.
Well, here's the situation. 11 cars did not pit that time. They had pitted just a few laps ago. And Kenny Wallace at the front of the line is at the tail end of the lead lap in 25th position. The leader of the race is Dale Earnhardt. Second is Bill Elliott. Then Matt Kenseth, John Andretti, and Terry Labonte. Now, off pit road, Tony Stewart won that. He's back in 12th position. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. also back there. Rusty Wallace is in 15th.
We're going to see a lot of racing here for the next little while. Now, they had Earnhardt and that group that had pitted on that previous caution. They run only about 7 laps under green flag conditions. Now, I don't know how much that will affect those tires. They've had a chance to cool off during this caution, so it might not affect them too much. Here's Todd Bodine in the car number 60 trying to get a lap back. He did come in and make a pit stop and put on 4 new tires. Kenny Wallace is right in front of Dale Earnhardt there, so he's back on the lead lap. Kenny is in 25th position, but almost a lap down.
Benny, the situation involving Bobby Labonte, who spun, it really didn't hurt him that much because he's still up there in the top 10. In fact, he's 7th.
He restarted 25th. He's now in 7th position. You're right. He did not stop. He stopped after he spun, changed 4 tires. This time, along with 10 others, he decided not to pit. But we do see his teammate, Tony Stewart, now going by Bobby Labonte. Now Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming up trying to challenge. These guys did stop and change tires.
That moves Tony Stewart up into the 7th position. Wally Dallenbach is 6th, and a great run for Wally in the 75 car. And there is Rusty Wallace as he comes to the inside of Michael Waltrip.
Takes over the 11th position.
And Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott are battling for the 2nd position, and Labonte has a bit of an edge.
Terry Labonte has made several pit stops during the caution periods and made a lot of adjustments on that Kellogg Chevrolet, so we got it right now.
Furthest anyone has ever come from deep in the field to start the race to win is Terry Labonte. That happened back in '95. He started 24th and came to victory in a big scramble off the corner.
Robbie Gordon, the 13 car, the Burger King car, gets in the wall coming off corner 2, and all those cars were trying to dodge.
Caution out.
Caution is out. No, it's not a caution.
Did he say no caution out? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Battle for the lead. Labonte has gone by Bill Elliott. Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's car, drives on the inside of Earnhardt, trying to take the lead in the C. Todd Bodine, the Power Team car, has driven away from this group.
He could catch a caution now. They get one of those laps back and then do that all over again. He could have a shot at this thing.
Terry Labonte goes into the lead.
And that's the second time in the year 2000 he has been out in front. He also led 3 laps at Texas.
Tony Stewart is the 2nd and a half back. Rusty Wallace is back in 12th spot, mired about 3 1/3 seconds behind the leader.
Terry is in his 43rd straight race here at Richmond. Wow. 3-time winner, most recently in 1998. He, of course, among those who has not won an event so far this year. Neither has Bill Elliott or Terry Labonte or John Andretti, and they're 4 of the top 5 at the 291 lap mark. Terry Labonte leads the Pontiac Excitement 400 here at Richmond International Raceway in Henrico County, Virginia. About a 1.5-second advantage on Dale Earnhardt and Tony Stewart, who are fighting it out for that runner-up position.
And this has been going on for the last couple 3 laps. Stewart running on the bottom of the racetrack as he has done most of the night, but Earnhardt on the outside running, and looks like Tony may have him this time. Spotter clear, high. Yep.
Here, coming back on the outside. Stay down. He's out there. That's what that spotter's saying. Well, he had him. He does have him. But didn't pull out there. Now he's got him.
But with all that, he's a 2.5 seconds behind. Well, Bill Pito and Trey Wingo have the report on SportsCenter after the race. Full highlights and analysis from the Kentucky Derby. All the post-reaction from this race and a preview of the next Heat Suns-Lakers series that starts tomorrow. SportsCenter following the Pontiac Excitement 400 here on ESPN. That Kentucky Derby was awesome. Did you see that?
I did not see that. I think I was having dinner.
One of the few times the favorite won here in a while.
As a matter of fact, since 1979, went through all the 80s and all the 90s without the favorite winning. In the first Kentucky Derby of the new millennium, we see the favorite Fujiyashi Pegasus winning the Kentucky Derby.
I'm impressed.
I am
Those
too.
big words.
Thank you.
Why would they name it that? I'm sure there's a good reason.
Well, Dale Jarrett and Jeff Burton are racing back here for the 13th position.
And Mike Skinner right there, and they touch a little bit.
We'll see some smoke out of Mike. I think that he has knocked the fender in on the left front tire. I think that's where it's coming from on Skinner's car.
Looks like it's definitely pushed in. His left front fender is.
Well, he's got that brake really glowing. It isn't rubbing too bad. There we see it down the backstretch. We see some little smoke from it, but it isn't too bad.
Now Mark Martin comes up to challenge Rusty Wallace for the 11th position. Rusty has not made the move toward the front that we thought he might.
Well, they made an adjustment this last time because Tony Stewart was out running. They made the chassis adjustment, and the car maybe didn't like or doesn't like that chassis adjustment they made.
There, Jeff Burton joins in there to make it a trio.
Martin is driving the same car he won with at Martinsville. It's also the same car he finished second with here last year in this race after starting 12th.
Bob, in defense of Dale Jarrett, I mentioned that they spent 23.5 seconds in the pits the time before this. Evidently, they either put a rubber in or took a rubber out of the right rear because the car is running about 0.3 of a second a lap faster now than he was before then. So I guess there's a major adjustment that they made, not just the fact it took them that long to change tires.
And maybe worth the while in the pits of the car. And here comes Jared.
And that was you saw Rusty Walsh's car wiggle off turn 2. That might be the first time all night we've seen that Miller Lite car get out of control just the least bit.
DJ's car now will slip a little bit there coming off of that corner, but I've been noticing he's able to run down the bottom of the racetrack where before he was not able to. And boy, is that an advantage.
Tony Stewart just 3/4 of a second behind Terry Labonte. Right now, Tony Stewart's getting the advantage of Kenny Wallace up there in front of Terry Labonte, trying to stay in the lead lap.
Wallace did get was able to stay in front of the leader at the last restart and still is on the lead lap in the 25th position. But it's Terry Labonte leading Tony Stewart by about 3/4 of a second. We have a new leader at the Pontiac Excitement 400. Tony Stewart has gone on into the lead for the second time tonight. Stewart. And now we have a crash as Mike Skinner is in the fence.
I guess that's over on the inside, going in the pits or going in turn 3. Yes.
Well, this is the caution that the 55 car Kenny Wallace needed. That puts him back on the lead lap, and he'll be at the tail end now. And Todd Bodine had already run away from him by almost 7 seconds, so that got that lap back. He's still one down. A lot of damage to Mike Skinner's low Chevrolet.
Wow. Skinner led 10 laps on 2 different occasions, and so here on lap 317, his car is badly damaged. Here it is in the backstretch. Hard contact with the inside retaining wall. We'll be right back. ESPN's presentation of the Pontiac Excitement 400 from Richmond being brought to you by Nations Rent. For construction rental equipment, call 1-800-NO-SWEAT. By Pepsi, the joy of cola. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. Caution out here on lap 319. Mike Skinner into the wall at the end of the backstretch, and pit stops have occurred, and Ward Burton got out first, we assume because he took 2 tires.
We understand that is in fact the case, Bob. He beat everybody out of the pit, so he's now the leader. But he had led a lap earlier. He'd stayed out, I think, on the caution and led a lap.
There's your triple split. Dale Earnhardt leaves pit road. Terry Labonte leaves pit road. Now Tony Stewart, as all these cars come down pit road, he finishes his pit stop, but there we saw Ward Burton. There he comes the race off pit road, and Burton just beat him by about a half a car length.
So Ward Burton will be at the front of the field when we go back to green. Tony Stewart running second, followed by Terry Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. now runs in 5th. Back under green at Richmond International Raceway, Ward Burton came out of the pits in the lead. He still has it, and Tony Stewart is in second. Joe Nemechek down there to the inside is trying desperately to get his lap back, but he remains a lap down in the 25th spot.
See Todd Bodine driving the 60 car in relief of his brother. He has gotten 1 lap back. Right there at the battle of the leaders trying to get another lap back. There's Tony Stewart looking on the inside. Oh, man, that was close.
If the Nemechek was down on the inside of him, that was going to be a wreck there. Tony didn't slip out on the outside. But I'm coming up on the outside of Nemechek.
Now, once again, Tony Stewart's going to dive to the inside. Ward Burton on the outside, but Tony can't get that run off the corner.
But he's where he wants to be because that car has been working best on the low line.
But he can use the entire racetrack, but right now, not being able to come up and use the entire racetrack has really slowed his progress.
More from Bill Weber.
And they told Tony Stewart before the green came out that the 22 just took 2 right side tires, and his car has been rather ill handling through most of the day, especially earlier in the run. So they told him, take your time. He didn't have any trouble getting around him over the long haul.
And a report on Kevin LePage, who has been up in the top 15 most of the evening. He has now dropped back to the 23rd position. We understand he's low on power. They had hoped to check it over during the caution, but ran out of time, so he's still out there in the 23rd spot.
And look at Todd Bodine is about to get that lap back. He's down on the inside of Tony Stewart as we watch this battle between Dale Earnhardt and Ricky Rudd, but there's that 60 car passing the leader.
You're clear, man. Way to go.
And he is back on the lead lap. Todd Bodine in relief from Jeffrey, 2 laps down, but now he's right back on the lead lap.
And that's how he lost the 2 laps, was in the driver change.
In fact, he was almost 3 laps down. Rusty Wallace was only a half a dozen car lengths behind him when he came out of the pits. He drove away. Rusty was leading the race at that time, and he just drove away from Rusty. And I suspect he'll drive away from Tony Stewart. It looks like he's going to.
Races for 6th here between Rudd and Earnhardt.
There's Jeff Gordon in the 10-4 car right behind them.
Sixth, 7th, and 8th. Ricky Rudd decided to go up and follow Dale Earnhardt, so Jeff Gordon drives to the inside. Didn't work, could not get by Rudd, but Jeff can stay down there. Terry Labonte, he's moved into that 3rd position.
Ward Burton with those, that 2-tire change still hanging on the 2nd. And here are a bunch of cars that are running Ricky Rudd in the 7th position, Jeff Gordon in the 8th. Dale Jarrett is 9th. The 12 car, of course, of Jeremy Mayfield is many laps down. He had a problem early. He's 77 laps down. He was on the 38th position.
Matt Kenseth has moved into the top 10. John?
Bob, they fought their way toward the front all night long. This is a brand new car that Matt is driving. Remember, they got on the same pit sequence as Dale Earnhardt did earlier and got track position that way. But this last pit stop, check this out. 4-tire change in 14.9 seconds.
Wow.
So this crew is really coming together.
Yeah, I thought they had only changed 2 tires maybe. That was a great pit stop. And Earnhardt Jr. takes over the 2nd position.
And now here is Mark Martin taking the 10th.
Yep. 3 Rouse cars running together. There's Jeff Burton running into, that was 11th position he took. That was Jeff Burton running in 10th position.
Tony Stewart with about 0.8 of a second lead on 2nd place Dale Earnhardt Jr. Ward Burton is 3rd, followed by Terry Labonte and Bill Elliott. From high overhead Richmond International Raceway in the Pontiac Excitement 400, the Pennzoil Copter Cam is showing you the leader of the race, Tony Stewart, who has almost a second advantage over Dale Earnhardt Jr. And we are on lap 348 and a huge battle raging behind Tony Stewart. It involves Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, and Mark Martin is not too far behind.
They have really been going at it. A few laps ago, Rudd was up beside Earnhardt. Jarrett was up beside of Gordon. They were running side by side, but neither Rudd nor Jarrett could make the pass down on the inside.
And Jeff Burton also runs in the group. Here's Jarrett to the inside of Gordon now as they contest the 8th spot. Oh, close, racing down into 1. Whoa, whoa.
He drove her in pretty deep that time. They drove it in too deep, and it cost him. He gained 1 position, but took 2 away, and Gordon comes back and runs him. Bobby Labonte gets into it.
Man, oh man.
And no caution.
And let's see, who's that smoking up there in front
Joe
of him?
Nemechek. He's been smoking the last few laps. But right now, Bobby Labonte has the right front tire rubbing, it looks like. of Gordon's car. To the right front, smoking.
Here, the points leader, as he's going to have to come in to the pits. And here's a replay of what happened.
There we see DJ just try to do a slide job on Jeff to get by. And there we see they both go high. And when they come off the corner, Jeff's trying to go on the inside, and DJ goes down, and boom, there's Bobby Labonte. I guess DJ was trying to block Jeff from getting by, and I'm assuming.
Well, no, Jeff did say he turns him. I said he had no choice but to turn out.
Got in the left rear of DJ.
Down to Bill Weber.
Right side tires only for the 18 car. They want the sheet metal pulled away and anything else that might be rubby. They got the right sides on, drop the track, send him on his way.
Bobby Labonte goes back into competition. He was in 13th position when that incident occurred, and now he goes a lap down in 26th. And besides all that, he has also lost the points lead. And not only that, he has dropped to third in the points at the moment, with both Mark Martin and Ward Burton ahead of him in points.
Ward Burton still hanging in there in the 5th position.
But Bobby Labonte's teammate, Tony Stewart, continues to pull away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. The interval now has increased to 1.5 seconds.
I'm assuming that Bobby Labonte is going to get a black flag. Let's see. He is, and he's coming down to heed the black flag. What happened when they made the changes? They knocked the fender out. They didn't take the tires back across. The right side tires they took off were sitting on pit road. They did not take them back across. That's what the black flag is about.
And regardless of whether there is anyone else on pit road or not, the penalty is still assessed. So Bobby Labonte observes the stop-and-go penalty that will drop him further back in the field. We're in the closing laps of this race, and this is the incident that has caused all the problems for Bobby Labonte. Contact with Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon. Just as we mentioned that Bobby Labonte has problems giving the point lead to Mark Martin, Mark has problems and in fact is taking his car behind the wall. He hit the wall a ton up in the 4th turn.
Yeah, it came off of turn 4, and all of a sudden it just veers to the right like we've seen so many times here tonight, and apparently the right front tire cut. John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt is in. They're only going to go right side tires. 2 tires only for Earnhardt to Jerry Punch.
1 round to bite. Back out that they put in on the last pit stop. 4 tires for Terry Labonte. Left side tires going on the Kellogg Chevrolet. Let's go to Bill.
It's going to be 4 tires for Tony Stewart. Several guys are going to gamble here. Stewart has his 4 tires. He's heading out. A lot of traffic down there. And he hits an 8.
Collision between Tony Stewart and who? Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. We don't know. We saw the damage to the right front fender of Earnhardt Jr.'s car. We don't know about the left rear. Tony Stewart has a flat tire. It cut the left rear tire of Tony Stewart's car.
And so Stewart will make a return visit to pit road, and this will cause him to drop significantly in the standings.
Yeah, there's still, what, 23 cars on the lead lap. And one of those benefactors of this caution is Todd Bodine. We talked about how fast that car has been. Well, he's on the lead lap now. He's going to be back to about 17th position. And here comes Tony Stewart back in to change those left side tires. These guys said, man, we just put 2 tires on there.
Bill Weber.
And they did a great job getting the jack underneath the car with that flat tire. He's got his left side. He's got more traffic to negotiate here, but this will be very costly.
Indeed, as he's going to drop all the way back to about 24th position. Well, things have happened quickly here in the last few laps. Bobby Labonte has problems. Tony Stewart has problems, and Mark Martin also hard to the wall, causing this most recent caution, or 9th of the evening here at Richmond. Here is the incident that has dropped Tony Stewart from the lead back to the 22nd position. Contact between Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. as Jr. was pulling out of his pit stall and trying to avoid the 60 car.
What happened? Dale Earnhardt Jr. has to turn around the 60, and he makes contact and cuts the tire down on Tony Stewart's car.
So Stewart restarts from 22nd position. Todd Bodine is in 16th. The leader is Dale Earnhardt, and his son is behind him.
Oh, and we see this lot of sparks off Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, Bill Weber.
They're concerned about the right front fender on the 8. They're also concerned about the toe, so they wouldn't know for sure until how good the car was. Junior going for the lead.
He's alongside his father right at the start-finish line. And for the lead down into turn 1, still some sparks coming from Junior's car, but he takes the lead.
His car has been fast all night on fresh tires. It's been pretty fast since they made adjustments on it on used tires, but fresh tires.
Terry Labonte is right there now challenging Earnhardt for second, as Dale Jarrett is right behind Labonte.
And remember, Dale Earnhardt Sr. only got 2 tires on that pit stop, and I'm afraid he's going to pay the price for that.
Terry Labonte trying to get in the second spot. Dale Jr. told me this afternoon one of the biggest thrills of his career was passing Mark Martin last fall to win the NASCAR Busch Series race here. I wonder if he changed his mind, if he could. His biggest thrill might be passing his dad to win the NASCAR Winston Cup race here at Richmond.
John Kernan is with Mark Martin, who's behind the wall.
Mark's been checked out in the infield care center. Mark, you all right?
Right front tire blew out. We've been taking it easy all night, trying to take it easy. But it was time to go. I had my foot on the gas. She didn't hold up, so disappointment. We had I think, a really good car, but we didn't get to quite use it tonight.
Mark Martin can still smile after that. A very, very tough weekend for him. Yesterday, his nephew, Christian Levendahl, was killed in a car crash near Charlotte, North Carolina. So another tough weekend for Mark Martin.
Levendahl was the crew chief on the
P.J. Jones car in the NASCAR Busch Series. Meanwhile, they're 3 abreast off the corner, and Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, and Earnhardt, and Rusty gets in front of all these guys and takes over the 5th spot.
Suddenly, Rusty Wallace reemerges as a contender. Now up to 5th position.
He was running back about 10th before that caution came out.
Now look at the points right now. Bobby Labonte is back in 1st position. So they're really changing within the top 10 as Matt Kenseth also gained some spots. And this race has 25 laps to go.
Ward Burton just able to get by Dale Earnhardt. Now Jeff Burton up there trying to get by the 40 car of Sterling Marlin several laps down.
Yeah, in fact, he's 11 laps down. He had some major problems there for a while.
Dale Earnhardt has now dropped back to the 8th position. The leader is Dale Earnhardt Jr. by about 0.7 of a second, although he does have damage on the right front of the car. Here's Terry Labonte, who's running in 2nd position, and Dale Jarrett, who was involved in that incident with Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte, is in 3rd. Boy, it sure didn't affect his car, negatively at least.
Didn't seem to. You can see a lot of damage on the rear of his car, but doesn't seem to affect the handling that much on it. There in 4th place, Rusty Wallace in 5th.
Todd Bodine back on the lead lap. Not only that, but he is in the battle for the 12th position here with Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon.
Restarted 17th, so he's picking them off.
He was 2 and in fact almost 3 laps down at one point, caused by the driver change when Jeffrey got out of the car, giving it to Todd, who had crashed earlier in the race. Jerry?
And guys, there's more to the story. Because of the back brace that Jeffrey Bodine wears, he was actually pushed forward in the seat so Jeffrey Bodine could reach the pedals. When he got out and Todd got in, he could not reach the pedals to push him all the way down. They had to go find padding, and they have finally put padding behind Todd Bodine, so now he can mash mashing the pedals all the way down. This car has run so well. Imagine not being able to give it everything you got. Now he can reach everything, so he will definitely be a factor here these final laps.
He's going to pick up a lot of positions, getting one more now from Jeff Gordon. Now that 33 car, there is the lap down. Joe Nemechek, he's in 23rd position. Well, there's Tony Stewart right on his back bumper.
Stewart has moved up from 22nd to 14th now. And trying to take 13th from Jeff Gordon. But the laps are winding down. Just 17 to go.
Terry Labonte gained 1/100th of a second on Dale Earnhardt Jr. that last lap. And both of them pulling away from Dale Jarrett just a little bit each lap. Maybe 2 or 300ths of a second. But Terry Labonte is definitely gaining as we watch this battle back in the pack.
Tony Stewart drives on the inside of Todd Bodine. That Home Depot Pontiac has been so good all evening.
Terry Labonte picked up 0.15 of a second that last lap as we continue to watch this battle back in the pack. Tony Stewart picking up that 12th position.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s only top 5 this year was his win at Texas. Terry Labonte's only top 5 this year was on the other short track at Bristol.
He lost 0.02 of a second that last lap. It's 0.48 of a second. Now it's 4,300. Picked up a little bit that time. Picked up a little bit on both of them the last 2 laps.
Boy, Terry Labonte's brake rotor Ned was just cherry red that time. He's trying just as hard as he possibly can.
He's driving his hardest. He wants to become that 11th different winner. Earnhardt Jr. has already won this year. 4,300ths the last time. Let's see what it is this time. It's 4,600, so he didn't gain. He lost 0.03 of a second.
Of course, Tony Stewart won 3 races in his rookie year last year, but he didn't start winning until September. Boy, if Dale Earnhardt Jr. can win his 2nd race in his rookie year this early, who knows how many he'll win.
Exactly. Can you imagine who would have picked Dale Earnhardt Jr. to be the first repeat winner in the year 2000?
Labonte closed 0.39 of a second that time. But let's follow him down into turn 3. He is really driving that Kellogg Chevrolet deep into turn 3. Now they're hitting him that way right now. Now watch how much he picks up on him going into that corner. Now Earnhardt Jr. gets off of turn 4 real good. Maybe Terry's entrance in there is hurting him a little bit because he lost 0.04 of a second that time around.
Started this race in 5th position. Terry Labonte started in 30th, the lowest start of a Richmond winner, whether it be in the spring or the fall, was in the 1971 race where Richard Petty started 28th and went on to victory. And the interval staying right about that half second as there are now coming up on 9 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking to become the first repeat winner of this year and break the string at 10 different winners to start a season.
Right now, Terry Labonte, I think, is going to have to be concerned about being defensive rather than offensive because Dale Jarrett is gaining on him.
He is, Benny. Terry stayed the same distance behind Earnhardt, but DJ was 1.35 seconds behind Earnhardt. Now he's 1.05, so he's gaining on both of them. I don't think he has time to catch Earnhardt. I think Terry, when he drove that car into those turns so hard, I think that he heated his tires up, and that's costing him a little bit of speed right now. It's still 0.52 of a second. DJ cut it down to 0.99 of a second on the leader. DJ's taking the low road. These other guys are running high.
And it's basically a battle among those 3 drivers because back in 4th position is Ricky Rudd, but he is more than 3.5 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. with
6 laps to go.
Yeah.
Look at Tony Stewart already up to 9th position after that left rear tire went flat. Had to start at the rear.
And Todd Bodine in 13th.
DJ's got that low line working for him, and it is working for him. But when he gets another car beside him, that will slow him down.
5 laps to go.
Out there, got down to 3,500, so he gained some there this last couple of laps.
Cooled the tires maybe, and has got one last shot at Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he is indeed closing in on him. He reduces the interval to about a car length and a half.
Yeah, he has really moved up.
Interval is 28 hundredths. He shaved 7/100ths of a second off that lap.
4 laps to go.
Down the backstretch they race. Labonte is close enough to perhaps make a move here. Wow. Down to 3 to go.
Man, oh man.
This is what racing's all about in NASCAR. He gets close enough, almost
sure
a race.
does.
He's going to try the high side now. Let's see if Earnhardt pulls up there. He does. Blocks that position. 2 laps to go.
DJ's still running that low line down there.
Yep.
After he started doing that, he's gained almost a second on Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he started a little bit late.
Well, they're looking at the white flag, ladies and gentlemen. One more lap around the 3/4 mile Richmond International Raceway. Will it be Earnhardt Jr., Terry Labonte, or Dale Jarrett in the Pontiac Excitement 400? Labonte looks to the inside of Earnhardt, coming off corner number 2, but they run single file down the backstretch. Labonte's going to have to make the move. He looks inside in turns 3 and 4, and he's not going to be able to do it at Richmond International Raceway. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins his second NASCAR Winston Cup race. And side-by-side battles here all over the place. That's the battle for 10th that's taken by Dale Earnhardt. Steve Park is going to finish 11th, and Ken Schrader 12th. Second win comes in his 16th start. He had 2 Busch Series win here and now records one in the Winston Cup division. Until tonight, he had never led on a Winston Cup short track. Not only did he lead, but he won. Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Pontiac Excitement 400. Here's the McDonald's Winner's Circle interviewing Dr. Jerry Punch.
And he makes the plunge as they are showering him with a combination of Gatorade and Budweiser down here in Victory Lane. And from Wall Street on Thursday to Victory Lane here on Saturday night. I bet he told them, he said, hey, you guys look at this Earnhardt stock. It's going to go up big time this weekend. Let's get him back over here. Dale Earnhardt Jr., congratulations on an outstanding effort tonight. 2 wins in just 11 races of your rookie year.
Yeah, I tell you what, we didn't have the car to win that race, and I feel bad about what happened on pit road with Tony. I feel real bad about that, but he didn't give me a whole lot of room. And he cut his tire down, but we just got to run as hard as we could. And as you can see, we weren't the fastest, but we just held on to it.
I'll let you catch your breath. The restart with a little over 30 laps to go. You had to pass that. It had to be a dream come true. You talked about a couple of years ago about passing Mark Martin for the win here in the Busch event. How about passing your dad and moving on to take the victory?
Yeah, I was looking forward to this race because we ran so well here in the past. And it's fun to win here. We've done so good in front of all these people. And it's good to run here. Run good here in Winston Cup. I want to thank Budweiser, Remington, and all the sponsors.
You didn't hurt yourself diving off on the crew members a moment ago. You just grabbed your ribs. You were fine all night, but you're okay. This event, what does it mean to you to be able to have this much success this early in your rookie year?
I don't know, man. I'm about to pass out. I'm wore out. Go as hard as I can drive.
All right, he is absolutely exhausted as we'll watch him go around and begin the celebrations. Earnhardt Jr., 25 years of age, the first repeat winner in the year 2000. Bob?
And the third driver to win 2 races in his rookie year. Tony Stewart won 3, and Davey Allison also won 2 in his rookie year. Earnhardt wins at Richmond. Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. has won this Pontiac Excitement 400. Sports Center is coming up next with a rundown on the Derby, plus a rundown on what happened here tonight. Let's go to John Kernan.
And I'm with Terry Labonte, who finished a strong second tonight. Terry, you guys made a lot of adjustments on the car and finally got it about where you wanted it at the end, didn't you?
Well, we did. We were real tight early in the race there, and we kept working on it the whole race there, and everybody did a good job. Gary and all the guys worked hard, you know, trying to get the thing dialed in for us. And about the last 100 or so laps, we were pretty good. And came up a little bit short, but it's still a great run for us. I'm happy with the second place. Richmond's a great track for us, and, you know, we came up here, you know, hoping we could have a good run, and we sure did.
I just wonder if it had been that other Earnhardt in front of Terry, what might have happened tonight, if we might have seen some fireworks. I don't know. We'll never know. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Inside the press center with Dale Jarrett, and this was a short track classic, Dale.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We didn't get our car adjusted very good at the beginning for about the first 220 or 30 laps, and we kept making a lot of adjustments, just none of them were making a change to the problem. And finally got a spring rubber in the right rear, and that set the car to selling, and then I could get a little bit aggressive and have a little bit of fun like the rest of them were.
And you had a few thrilling moments out there as well that you hadn't planned on.
Oh, certainly. You know, it was tough to pass, and I had a good car, and a couple of times got myself in a position it was kind of hard to get out of, but you know, that's just racing and part of it. So we came out of it okay, and how about Dale Jr.? Who would ever thought he'd been the first two-time winner of the circuit, but does a great job. A lot of talent, and they do a good job, and Terry did a great job tonight. And, you know, we had a good race there. I thought we might come across there three wide.
Dale Jarrett comes home third, back upstairs.
Good run for DJ, but a better run for Dale Earnhardt Jr., who takes home the victory here tonight. Now, as far as the points are concerned, Bobby Labonte remains on top, but by only 3 over Ward Burton, who moved up 1. Mark Martin down to 3rd. Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt, and Dale Jarrett still to stay the same. Rusty Wallace up 1, so is Rudd. Gordon down 2, and Terry Labonte moves up 2 to 10th in the points.
No.
ESPN's coverage of the Pontiac Excitement 400 being brought to you by the Y-Track Pontiac Grand Prix, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. By Howard Johnson's Hotels and Inns. Howard Johnson makes you feel at home. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. Hey, race fans, this Bud's for you. And the Budweiser Chevy, driven by Dale Earnhardt Jr., was the winner here tonight in the 11th race of the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup Series, and the first repeat winner. He finished about 1600ths of a second ahead of Terry Labonte. We had 10 leaders, 23 lead changes. The average speed of the race, 99.3 miles an hour, 9 cautions for a total of 59 laps, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. only led 31. Most laps were led by Rusty Wallace, 217.
See, Stacy Compton finishes in 22nd. All those cars on the lead lap. And there's a remainder of the field.
Some hard crashes here tonight, but everybody got out okay. Kenny Irwin spent some time in the infield care center, but he was not injured. So that's the situation from Richmond International Raceway, as another short track event has been held in the 2000 season, and it was typical short track racing. Early in the evening, Jeremy Mayfield was the first into the wall. All kinds of problems. There's Benny's hero of the evening as he changes a tire that's blazing hot. A lot of action in the pit area as well as on the racetrack. Bobby Labonte was involved in an incident, and that's what eliminated the chances perhaps of Tony Stewart winning. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the champion for the second time this year. Thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com. See you in Sonoma.